market.
When we did our first pod, it was just after Lyft, and Lyft was 3 days before I had launched. So we were like, probably when we aired, we were just like day 1 or day 2.
I think that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ready? Ralph.
He's playing.
I'm doing a podcast.
Ralph's a free spirit, eh?
Yes.
Don't put a leash on Ralph.
I don't. I love that. Okay, ready?
You ever see something so true that you couldn't unsee it? Something that you just knew would serve you. Whether it be self-awareness, plant medicine, a lover, a career. That's what we get down to here. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Spark up or don't, and enjoy the show. Glad you're here.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners.
I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie, and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
And today, we got a part 2 with
Round
our
2. Begin.
This guy, we had him on we were just saying right before his first drop or during it, and we've just been like best pals. Like, this industry has felt like it brought together, a beautiful friendship. And
I know it's hard to believe that we've known each other for less than a year.
Less than a year?
But
that's fucked.
There's been
but
some
more than a
crossover.
lifetime.
Yeah, let's get into that. Anyway, get your joints up, everyone, for our bro and your new friend, Primeau Wallace, or also we call him Lightning.
Yes. And if you are like, hey, why? Go back to the first episode. We'll link it in the thing below.
Thanks for being here, bro.
Oh, man, thanks for having me back. You know what's good when they bring you back? Right?
You're good when they bring you back.
There's so much to talk about. We could talk about so much, but we had to start the podcast because Primeau obviously brought some beautiful fucking flower, and Ellevan couldn't help but smell it immediately.
They said I couldn't fucking do this off camera, so I'm like, well, let's roll the cameras, because we were just chatting, and I was like opening his shit as I do,
and you were freaking out. So now we can choose which one we're gonna smoke first, and then you can smell that one.
Okay.
What do we have here?
Yeah.
So doing the Kind Winter Fair, I had these 3 exact jars.
Nice.
I found out there's a sequence for having people to smell the jars. Because if I start with one specific one, the rest of them you will poo-poo. I don't want to smell it. I'm done. This is the jar. This is the weed.
killer, right?
Yeah.
95% of people, if I started with this one specific jar and strain, that's it. They don't give a shit about the other strains. So let's start with these ones.
Okay.
So
let's do a smell test.
This one here is Bundy.
Oh, fuck, bro.
So Bundy, I've got 3 different phenos that are running. We have 2 different phenos here for you guys to try out. So Bundy is a Canorado genetic. It's Fruity Pebble OG crossed with Animal Mints.
Oh my God.
That's the mother. The father is Cherry Pie and Thin Mint Cookie. So bringing those two together, it's a phenomenal strain.
I like your obsession with Thin Mint Cookie.
You know what?
It fits so well.
It's funny. This is a little thing. Okay, I was laughing about this yesterday. I was watering the flower room, and I was thinking, any grower who says they like Thin Mint cookies is because they're a lazy grower.
Nice.
Thin Mint cookies is the easiest strain to grow.
Is it?
It is so hard. It doesn't need to eat. It doesn't need, like, it's stress resilient. It's such an easy, the cookies is so that's why you see so much cookies in a lot of different genetics, is because it makes our life a little bit easier. And benefit is it's a high THC. It's a really nice one. But, like, I wanted to bring back some of that, Sour Power OG. I wanted to bring some, like, the Fruity Pebble. I wanted some of that old school genetic. And so I've actually been leaning away from the cookies, but it's hard to get away from it completely. So this is Bundy 3. Bundy 3, it's...
dank cheese.
It's nice.
Bro, this
danky.
is nice. What am I smoking?
Hot
So
cakes.
that's the hotcakes.
Fuck, dude.
So that drops on the 22nd of this month.
What the actual fuck?
Dude, this is a nice joint.
They're
This
not
shit-
bad. Like I said, I'm moving over to the reefer style, so they're going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But
That'll piss you off. You know what
so this is the Bundy 3.
Oh
so
my
Bundy 3,
God.
this is what I'm going to be dropping with Trees come springtime. So we're doing the collab. Trees and I are going to be doing a Primo and Trees craft collab.
you mean? Which I love. You want to talk about that for a minute? Because our homie Ben, he's like, we're building a little family here.
I love Ben, man. You're absolutely right.
Everyone is excited to be each other's friend. That's why I know the energy's so good.
You know what's funny is Ben will say to me like Primo, I really appreciate this. Like I'm riding your rocket right now up to success. I'm going, Ben, no, I'm riding your rocket, man. Like right now, right now, Trees is just, he's a phenomenal grower. They've got great flower.
Get off of each other's rockets.
I know, you know what? I like riding Ben's rocket, man. Like Ben's a great grower. Listen, it's hard to find another family-owned business where the guy is about, the same values that I have.
Yes.
Trees has.
You see why we all connected in each other's universe, because like the fundamentals are there, and that's what like it leads back, and it sets a great standard. I bring you guys up all the time, like when we're talking about the marketplace and who to get behind and who to put your dollars behind, and the message and the quality and the commitment. I'm like, unless you pull on my heartstrings, like the real motherfucking deal, like Wallace and Ben, like I just, great if you have good weed, but like that's the heart. That's what the industry and business needs. You guys are keeping it.
That's what Onel was singing your praises for yesterday. He was like,
Oh,
you're
no.
shit.
He's another guy that I love. And it's so funny that all these relationships that I have today that I consider my closest relationships, like you guys and Onel, it was at the Can Expo that I met everybody.
Shout out Can
Right.
Expo!
That's where I built my first 1,000, my base, and like who I really got my inner circle and who I feel comfortable. Like,
It was
forget about Primo and the brand and everything, just me, myself.
Yeah.
I really, really love and appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
You
You're
know
a
what I mean?
fucking
Like,
pillar.
You're an
You came
angel, bro.
into this industry hot, and now you're a pillar. So, listen, I need to know what the mother was again. Fruity Pebbles and...
bless you, bro.
okay, so
Thank you.
on the mom side, we've got Cherry Pine Thin Mint Cookie. And on the father side, we have Fruity Pebble OG and Animal Mints.
Okay,
is-
I cannot believe how much cherry and fruity is coming out in this.
So what I really liked about this when we were hunting it through, so Bundy 1, 2, and 3. Bundy 3,
So sticky.
It was a quick rooting, really nice buds. It's got that different smell, and it's not as cookies as the Bundy 1. So the
Yeah.
Bundy 1, I love it because again, it grows like crazy. It doesn't need to eat. It finishes earlier. This is a really nice strain, nice phenotype is the Bundy 3. It's a super euphoric high. You ever get one of those days where you're like, everything's going against me today, and you're trying to like pull yourself out of it. I'm having a hard time. I was outside the shop and I'm pressure washing all my cloners, cleaning everything out. And Function, my buddy Brent, is my geneticist. So Brent's the one who hunts through these things with me. He comes by and he's like, hey, you got to smoke this Bundy 3. So he rolls a joint and I smoke it. And I swear to God, I've never been like pulled out of a dark place faster. It's such a euphoric and nice high. That's why I wanted you to start with the Bundy 3 because
That's
you're gonna feel that it's almost like what you would think a sativa is.
Oh my
where
God.
it just really pulls you up.
We need that. I love that. I want that. That's the important. We love Mac Miracle Alien cookies because of the euphoria. Like that's a big reason why we do smoke weed. I can't wait to try this. This is
There's
so
no
exciting.
straight up Macs on the market. Why do you think that is?
It's a good question.
There's this though.
It's a good question. I mean, unfortunately, the way things are going, and I'm hoping things are going to start changing, is that strains are constantly being flipped over. I mean, some companies are sticking with one strain, right? And good for them for making it work because it's definitely an ice cream flavored market. You know, I had chocolate. I love chocolate. I had vanilla. What's new? They want the next flavor out. And then eventually they're going to come back and go, you know what I really missed was the chocolate.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
You know, when I was trying to pheno hunt out some new genetics, my weed's more of a afternoon, after work, later night weed. The dough and the lava cake traditionally have been like,
The dough.
They get ya.
They knock you.
They get you.
Right?
We
So
fucked Puff Mama with the dough.
Yeah. She's like, what the fuck is that, man?
Puff's great, man. But like, I really wanted to find a nice daytime weed.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I'm hoping the Bundy's going to fill that void.
Good. It smells so good.
I
can't believe that's the one you started with that, because now I know based on your story that we're only going up from here.
Only going up.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
So this is though that's
So
really
what's
important
nice
for me.
about this is that the Bundy is going to be getting paired with Ben's Cap Junkie.
Oh my
So come
God.
spring, we're going to end up having I wish I actually had the prototype in the car. I should have brought it out.
Yeah.
What it is I got 2 jars that are going to be in a sleeve together.
Nice.
Yes.
So that when they get sold as one unit, 2 3.5s. One's going to be the Bundy, the other one's going to be the Cap Junkie
Dude,
from
that's
Ben.
fucking
And we wanted to
cheap.
do a sampler. And what's nice about the collab is when I first approached Ben, it was at Hall of Flowers. Actually, we were all
were all chilling. I remember it.
And I asked Ben, I'm like, hey, you know, OCS right now is looking for these samplers. They're looking for like, you know, more than one 3.5 of 2 different kinds. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go in with me and we'll do a straight collab? You know, like he's like, well, what do you want me to grow? I'm like, no, whatever you want to do, you do it. You put out your stuff, I'll put out mine, and we do just a straight down the middle, pure collab.
Which I'm just realizing right now, this will be a premiere for trees on the market.
It will be.
Holy fucking shit! I
Yeah,
didn't put that
dude.
together yet.
You didn't understand the whole.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah, this is what I seen like before.
Well, I know-
You're
I
an
knew it-
LP. Trees is a major like producer, and he works with like some of the best. And
some of the best.
Yeah.
And he's so talented. But for me as a my guy, we're not only all hip hop fans, but when you put me and another rapper in a room, unless there's extreme ego and toxic bullshit, we should make a fucking rap song. Like we should.
100%.
We should fucking. We both
Yeah.
like to rap. We should both rap. Throw on a beat. We should both rap.
Very
and then when
cool,
these
yeah.
guys
Oh, very
actually
cool.
treated it like artist opportunity, and the fact that you have the opportunity and the establishment to offer that.
Listen,
and then-
I would never be in a position to tell you this is how you're going to rap. This is what you're going to do and
just throw on a
produce.
beat.
You shine
Let
on
me
your
bust
own,
it.
right? Like what's nice
We
is that
talked about that on his the people who feature on his songs though, because I'm like, how much are you kind of coaching or whatever? Because he's in production while someone's here, like laying down their music.
Yeah.
And you're pretty hands off. I think you
That's
said
you, man.
because
That's
it's
your
like
opportunity.
you're
What
bringing.
you want to say on the mic,
yeah,
that's you.
We're bringing.
which,
yeah, what
which
you
I think
want.
is nice because you get to shine as your own artist.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that people don't give growers enough credit in terms of you are your own artist. You know, like
You are the
get
artist.
you get to choose what format you're using, how you're doing it, what the product eventually comes out at. And so I didn't want to hinder Trees by going, you know, listen, it's going to be under my SKU and I want you to do this. And I'm taking points off of everything that you're selling through me. And like, because a main thing in this industry is some of the bigger guys will go to the micros and they'll take their flower because their flower is phenomenal.
You own your own label.
But
You have
exactly.
the
But what ends up
opportunity,
happening
yeah.
is that the bigger guys will buy the flower from the micro and then put it out under their own
Yes.
branding and
Yeah.
be like, look at me and look at what I grew.
Yeah.
And
I
continue
wanted
with it.
Trees to be like, listen, this is Trees Cap Junkie. This is him.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. And I want him to make sure that he gets the recognition he deserves as a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that you're
sure.
such a real one to do that and set that up and leverage and the branding collab and just
it's
like
just a great-
you guys together.
Yeah, a great way to encourage someone onto
happen.
the market too.
It can happen.
Sure.
So I'm just also saying, like, there's talented growers out there that hesitate getting involved in the legal industry because they think it's all a bunch of standoffish corporate bullshit. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not with, like, real motherfuckers like this in the game. It can happen. Like, the opportunities, if you're really good and if you're a dope hang, you know, I think that helps. I think the fact that you extend that love to Ben is definitely because of his amazing flower, but also because of what a guy.
Well, and you're absolutely right. It's also his values and my values align.
Yes.
It would be very hard to go with someone who's, you know, I don't know,
Trying
just
to
an
force it or
asshole or a
something.
bigot
Yeah.
or, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a nice guy and he's got the same values. Like, he's family first, just like I am. They're grower owned. There's so many things that connect with us that I'm like, you'd be the perfect person to do a collab with. And as much as you think that, you know, like my branding, I've built it up and I've done all this, I really feel like Trees is a phenomenal brand.
Yeah.
And they're it's for a brand who hasn't gone to market yet.
I know.
He's
But
shining.
He has and he has it.
Yes.
He has and he has it, right?
Yes,
Like,
exactly. That's what he means.
We
though.
found
He's
him,
shining.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like the Dr. Dre, but like an 18-year-old Dr. Dre. Like before, you know what I mean? He's
Exactly,
like
yeah.
making bangers, but like still rising. Yeah. Oh man, I love that. That's so exciting. You straight up hip hopped it. You straight up like collabed, like let's bust it and do it
Yeah,
together.
has anyone
and-
done that?
No, you know what?
Not like
you
that.
want to know something too about this collab? I probably shouldn't even say it, but I will. Is that there's not a single piece of paper between the two of us being like, this is what it is. We're, you know, you make this much, I make this. We literally just been like spitting a handshake, you know, like, let's go, let's do this. You want to do it, let's do it. And we've been like, you know, just because I feel like a lot of the stuff in the industry, it's so corporate and it's so much paperwork and it's NDAs and it's all this
Bullshit.
stuff. Man, if I
Wasting
make you
time.
sign an NDA right away, that means I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I trust that you're going to move against me at some point, so I got to make sure you sign this non-disclosure and non-compete and all this. Man, we just wanted to come together and be like, you know, just grassroots. You want to do something? I want to do something. Let's do it together and just.
You're real guys who do it like for the passion, for the love, and yes, the business got to work, but the connection, and that's felt. And your guys' weed is so fucking good.
It's
like
so good.
your gift.
It put a tremendous amount of pressure on me because I know how Ben grows now. That I have to make sure that my,
You showed up, man.
My
That-
flower has
that
to be
Bunty,
there, right?
man.
This
That's
is
so
fucking
crazy.
sexy, bro. Oh my
You know
God.
what? I just I think I've been trying to create a joke in my comedy about any brand coming to their specific market, and they take the path or the story of like, we're disrupting the market. Like, I think that's so fucking funny when brands say that. But for you, I think about you and I'm like, it's not disrupting. You're like actually elevating it. Like, you're actually putting you're not like, you're so humble, and like, so you're not putting yourself like front and center, like disrupting, like, here I am disrupting.
Here I am,
You're
the
like,
almighty disruptor.
I feel like you're smoothly, like, I don't know, dancing your way into like a better cannabis industry.
You know what he is?
I don't know.
He's being.
Yeah,
He's
it's fucking
being.
cool, man.
That's
Being is nice.
gangster. Being is lovely. Just doing what you do, and like whoever that pleases or ignites or pisses off, so be it.
You know, it's funny because you can't talk about lifestyle. You know, like with cannabis, one of the rules with health cannabis, you can't talk about that this promotes a specific lifestyle. But cannabis for me, and, you know, just as a grower in my daily life, I wake up, you know, I'm with my kids, I do my thing, and then I'm gone to the shop and I'm working. And by the time I come home, I'm still working. Like, it really is my life. Like, when I wake up to the time I go to sleep, you know, I sprinkle in family in there to make sure that, you know, like,
You don't go
like
totally
I want to
crazy.
be able to sleep in my bed at night, right? I don't want to sleep on the couch.
Right.
But it really is a lifestyle thing, and it's hard to try and repress that, you know, like hold it down,
Yeah.
especially when that is what the reality is. And I just wanted to be myself and do it organically. So I do hope that, you know, like, the industry is, I'm helping the industry out.
Yeah, you are.
But I would never be that guy to be like, I did this and I, you know, and
No, but even the vision, we don't talk about it. Oh, because I think you have some original ideas that you're gonna kind of.
Fuck it, let's talk about it.
Well, how do
Right,
you
like-
start to by being involved with these shows, and they're great. We're lucky to have them as an industry for sure. But like, there's that same 100 people. Sometimes, like in the event, like a snake eating its own tail. Sometimes accidentally,
Absolutely.
and
Which is cool that we get time to come together.
Together.
I think
It's
that's
nice.
what we can
And we
we
want
can
that.
take as a positive, and we continue to want that.
yeah, as a community,
As
so
a
we can
community.
find really cool places to gather and celebrate, and that's where the lounges are going to help. But I think you're coming from the element of maybe a brand investing to be at an event.
That's the difference right there, because it's nice to come together, but you could come together without going to these events, because as long as you're part of
Yeah.
the grassroots culture, you know, like you're gonna run into each other at you know, like just cultural events.
Okay,
But
bro.
you're right, as a brand, you see the same people over and over again. And when you're doing, you know, they talk about this, again, I'm not a business guy, but these ROIs, return on investments. When you start talking about forking out $5,000 for a booth or $10,000 for a booth, and believe me, I did every single show this year. Right.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I was really lucky. Like, you know, I won a couple different booths and stuff as sponsorships. Like, shout out to OCS for pulling us into some of the stuff. And, you know, in Hall of Flowers, you know, like Lift, all these different shows. I was fortunate enough, and kind, even the Winter Fair, I was fortunate enough to be there because I couldn't be there if I had to do the traditional route, which was pay these massive fees for these booths. Yeah. But I'm seeing, you know, you see the same people over and over again, especially when you start talking about sampling. For bud tenders and bud tender education.
Yeah.
You know, you sometimes instead the bud tenders, I'll say it. I'll call you out on this. Okay?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's say it. You know, the whole point of brands going to these shows is for, you know, brand awareness, right? And also public, you know, the education and stuff. But when you get these 2-day shows and you see the same bud tenders at both days coming to get their samples, it's like, you know, especially for the smaller guys, it's like, you know, really, I had to try and allocate out, you know, out of my share to try and, you know, make sure I have enough for everybody. And then you start seeing the same bud tenders, not at every show, but also at both days at the shows coming to collect their stuff. Which again, hey, I would be there too.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like 100%, I would be there too.
No, but what's the event doing to kind of protect this sort of
Yeah, that's
trick-or-treatery?
honestly what
The event is there to make money. So listen, at the end of the day, they're
don't
going to
care.
sell the same bud tender 2-day tickets because, hey, they just doubled their admission cost.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the things that, you know,
This is sorry, just to like, we'll get back to that. But oh my god,
this is Bundy 3.
the ash falls off like beautiful white clay. It gives you this nostalgic, tasty sweetness, like you're picking up a Little Caesars pizza on the way in, and it gives you a refreshing, dank exhale. That is so delightful.
Give it like 10 minutes.
I'll give it the whole day.
When he's telling, don't bogart it. Just go, give me a hit. Yeah, you know,
It's
like
okay. Take your time with it.
one of the things that you were getting at though is
The Thin Mint said.
these shows. There's different formats available, and you know, I kept this to myself for a few months actually since we guys did trees
Yeah.
pod,
Yeah, because you were
Which
there.
was still summer, I think.
I
which
love
was
that
still
you were-
summer. Yeah, and so I've been working on, you know, I've been reaching out to the AGCO, and I'm at the point where I would rather, if somebody else has the opportunity to pick up and run with something that I can, you know, manifest and put out there, do it. So I'd love to see more of a B2C expo. I'd love to see an expo where, you know, consumers are able to come in and have it set up so that at each booth is a registered bud tender. A store runs the expo. For example, I'm going to use Sticky Nugs because Sticky Nugs, Sam and them are the bomb.
Sticky
right?
Nugs,
Look
what
at,
up,
look, there's the
Sam?
Sticky Nugs there.
There's a love.
I would like to see somebody like Sticky Nugs do an expo and have a temporary storage unit in an expo. They're licensed for, you know, June the 1st to June the 3rd, right? A Friday to a Sunday. Have consumers come out to that expo. They have they've ordered all of their product from the OCS. So OCS should be able to be like, hey, they're moving product. And that at each booth, you have a bud tender that's registered to be there who can actually sell. It's just like a pop-up. So that the brand isn't the one who's actually selling to the consumer. It's more like the brand's doing a pop-up, like what I do at the stores.
Yes.
And the bud tender who's trained and can sell certified is able to actually make the transaction. And I'd love to see more of an expo that's B2C to draw consumers in. So you're not doing that. You're not being that snake eating its tail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're actually getting in front of a consumer, which at the end of the day for brands, the ROI is there because now you're getting
Definitely.
your product in front of new people.
Buying choices.
And consumers are going to come out because, Carmel's there, Trees is there, Primo's there, the Drip is there, Frost is there. All
To
these,
be able to buy at an expo is
from your
really
grower
the key to
is the
get
key right now.
consumers
Yeah.
to these
So,
expos.
for sure.
So demographic wise, that's what we're trying to do with this year coming Can Expo, is at least have the activities be more consumer front market facing rather than like just the internal cannabis community.
That's it.
Like, be that bridge. The reason why legal cannabis exists, offer this insight to new adapters and create new experiences for people that align with weed. We have a consumption lounge. Come in and try, and then maybe like pursue what would be fun while high instead of getting beaten with like percentages and stuff.
Ugh.
Like those graphics.
I have a technical question. Say Sticky Nugs runs this.
Yep.
Then Sticky Nugs reaches out to brands directly.
Correct.
And then those brands he'll buy through
So,
his store.
This is how I would do it.
You stock it like a retail store. You must.
This is how I would do it. If I'm Sticky, okay, you're a store and you're a store. I'm going to go to you and say, look, you can buy a booth at my place, and it costs $5,000-$10,000. The same that you're paying right now.
Store or brand?
Brand.
Okay.
No other stores are going to be there.
Exactly. Okay, that was my question.
No,
Okay.
but what I would do is I would reach out to the other stores to see if their bud tenders want to come, because it's a chance for education for the bud tenders to work in a booth with the grower, with the brand, and actually be like, hey, and imagine like, who's your favorite brand out there right now? Just spitball, anybody.
Black market.
Black market. Imagine you were a bud tender who loves Black Market's products.
Yeah.
You could go to the Black Market booth and work that booth, and you hear how they're interacting with the consumer when they're doing that pop-up, and you get to go back to your store and actually know how to sell that product even better. So it's a
Yeah,
benefit for the
sure.
stores to have their employees be able to actually come out and be educated by the man himself.
Active field experience while you watch a master or an artist at work is the top beneficial experience to like learn on the fly. You'll never get such a good, even if it's not about that brand, just talking with growers. Obviously I'm in a privileged position, but like just what I learned from just hearing you talk about the craft, and like it's all about the peripherals. It's an
experience.
Yeah.
And when you do these experiences, you take them in if you're interested, right? Like
we
both went through high school, I think pretty much the same way, right? Like it really depends on your environment and whether you're interested, if you're going to learn.
Did you have any AGCO talk as you've been sort of
fucking
presenting this idea over the last?
Yeah, I've been reaching out to them. They're a little bit dodgy to get a hold of, and I think like
Classic.
I'll just say it, they're a little dodgy, But the way that I envisioned this was, imagine you rented out an expo. I'm Sticky Nugs, just again, and I'm reaching out to brands to go, hey, you could take a booth at my place. You're spending the same amount you're doing at Lift and Kind and Hall of Flowers.
Able to sell.
But you're actually able, not you personally, but your product is able to sell there, and you're able to, because again, when I go to do a pop-up at a store, I can't actually do the transaction.
Yeah.
The bud tender has to do it because they're CanCell certified and they work for the store and all that stuff. So Sticky would hire people, bud tenders, to work at each booth and do the transaction there. Yeah. And Sticky would order based on your order. If you're the brand, you go, hey, listen, I think I can move like 50 cases.
Nice.
So then you would place an order with me to say like, okay, I'm going to order from OCS 50 cases, and you're going to pay for those 50 cases, and they're going to get moved through.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna come and encourage.
So what you know what that does when you move cases like that? It triggers a re-up from OCS. And OCS is happy because they're making their buck off of it. You know what I mean? Like they're making their money as cases are moved. So, and also it's a chance for public education, right?
Yeah.
And it keeps it, you have to be 19 and older to get through the doors.
Sure, yeah.
So it keeps it out of the youth. And because you're promoting a legal market, it goes against the black market. So all three of those, public education, keeping it out of the youth, and promoting a legal market, and pushing aside the black market, those are the three main things that AGCO, the province, everybody's pushing towards. Those are the public objectives, right?
Wow, so it really does serve for that, and it's moving forward like that with that sort of vision that is going to make it happen. And right now it feels like pushing boundaries, but you're not really. You're actually just solving a pretty, visible issue that we seem to be doing the same thing like over and over and then hoping that the result is different.
It has to change.
It has to change. Like just the way that you've dreamt up the avenue through the rules. Like for me, I
hand water. I got a lot of time when I'm standing there. You know what I mean? Like Teresa's always giving me trouble. He's like, Primo, you got to get out of your room. Like you can't just be. But when I'm in there, I go into like this meditative state. Like I start thinking
the love.
And I really start thinking. I was going. It would love to do a B2C. I even thought of a name for the thing called re-up. You know, because the consumer gets to re-up. The stores get to re-up from OCS. They're going to actually get a re-up order.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if it meets all public objectives and it meets every legality, why not allow it to something like that to actually come to fruition? You know what I mean?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So you're a dreamer and a visionary, bro, and that's so important to have.
Yeah, but hey, maybe somebody else out there is you know,
Wants to manifest
AGCO may not be so dodgy with. You know what I mean? Like if someone else can run with that idea and it improves the industry, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah,
Love
it's
that.
a great idea.
I would like to see that brought to life by the example Sticky Nugs. Sam will talk. What's next, bro? Because I'm feeling high on this.
Yeah, me
Can
too,
I smell
bro.
this one?
Okay, hold on.
Or-
Let me
or
see
which
what
is
it is
next?
before you go. No, see this one here. This is the last. This is the last. Okay, so what we have here is Thug Pug's peanut butter breath.
No, this is the Bundy that we just did.
This right here, what we have here,
Yes.
is Thug Pug's peanut butter breath. I've got 3 different phenos. I've narrowed it down to one. The one that I have going, and I gotta have you guys come out to the flower room. The one that I have going, it's a mutant. It's a mutant pheno. So the leaves look like chicken feet. So there's only 3 toes, and they're really weird and jagged. It's just really, really meaty. It's not like a savory sweet. And so what I have up with trees, we're doing
What
the collab.
the fuck?
I've also got I'm doing a Primo craft sampler in spring where I'm doing peanut butter breath, and I'm doing it with my biscotti cake.
Nice.
So
Oh my god.
while you're smelling that one, I'm just gonna get you to crack this. So that's the first one. This is the other one. So I wanted to do like a sweet
What the
and a
actual
savory.
fuck?
I wanted to do a sweet and savory sampler together.
This smells like that platinum grapes from Organic Craft.
It's super creamy, eh?
Oh my god, dude! How the fuck?
So that
how
is
are you doing
that
this?
is the biscotti cake. And you know, like I
Oh
can say,
my
hey, listen, you know,
God, it's
I'm the
so
best grower in the world. That's how I do it. But the truth is that we kind of just let the genetics speak for themselves. We pheno hunt through, and I get a lot of help from Function. You know, like Function's my guy. Like
Shout out Function.
yeah, man. You know, Brent is Brent's been growing for like 40 years. You know, so like when he speaks, I listen. I used to actually machine trim and wet trim all my stuff back in the day. Brent used to go like, "What are you doing?" It's like making this 5-star meal, blending it in the end. Just you know, like just take your time and do it dry and do it by hand trim. So the reason why I am who I am and where I am, I really have to give Function a shout out. And he's the one who helps me go through this.
Shout out.
He's a little on the OCD side, and I'll say it, Brent, because he's like right now. I'm like, Brent, stop popping seeds. Stop popping seeds, man. We have so many genetics on the go right now.
He's just in that
and
mode.
he's like, yeah. Oh, he just
Must
like
be so exciting.
he's popping like 50 beans a day of like different strains, and I'm like, what happened?
Stop
You know,
it.
we're smaller outfit. I'm like, man, where am I gonna put all these moms?
Holy fuck.
Like, if I gotta start killing moms that I know are bangers to keep up with other ones, I'm like, it's no good, man. You gotta slow down.
Relax.
I feel that, dude, from being
Stop popping.
an obsessed music artist. It's just like it constantly never stops. It's like, hey, why don't you market the ones that you have out?
You know,
Just
it's
keep
nice to do that,
writing
but it's
them.
also nice to go, you know what? It keeps it fresh. You know what I mean?
Creativity, yeah.
But otherwise, you know, you get stale. Like I said,
This
I
is
love the lava
fucking
in the dough,
nuts.
but I know what I'm getting into every harvest. This one here brought a little excitement back because I don't know what each strain is actually going to end up like, if they're going to flip on me, if
And
they're
you
going
know
to turn
it
out
works.
nice. And you know it works. So
You got to go try something else. It's part of being an artist, I think.
I just want to say that
This
my
is-
personal choice, I think, is the Bundy.
you like the Bundy.
In terms of my nose
Yeah?
pleasure, yeah, I
Make sure you shake it, eh? Like
I
I always tell people, don't just crack it. Give it a shake. Like bust those trikes. You know, there's smelling jars. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my god.
okay, Bundy 1.
That's
So this is a
fucking
different
nuts.
Bundy. This is
Okay.
the second pheno of the Bundy.
okay.
So try that smell, because that's the one that's a little bit more
To
like the
refresh
cookies.
my palate.
I know. I was listening to the radio up here where they're going, you got to breathe all the way out, and then you got to smell in, you know, to like get it go straight to your brain.
And it is euphoric.
It is lovely and euphoric. Okay, hold on. What did I...
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. So
That's
That one's a little more. That one's a little bit more. Cookies came out.
Yes.
So-
Like, nice. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
How did you get it so like clean? Like the stem like breaks beautifully and perfectly like a carrot. Like it's just so clean and it seems so blessed. Like what are you doing? Are you
It's just a matter of the cure and how you treat the plant, right? So
So
like at
how
the end
do
of the day, like when I cure, okay, straight right from harvest. So when I cut down my plants, I've already gone through and I've de-leafed, some of the big leaves. I leave my sugar leaves on.
Nice.
So like I let those stay on. We
Okay.
move them into the dry room. I hang dry all of my plants, and I do it in a room that's 60-60. So 60 degrees, so it's cold, and 60% humidity. Some of these other producers, like I went to some of these expos, and guys were selling ovens that you put your flour into to dry it out. And I was just like, oh my God, what? And how much is the oven? And he's like, it's $180,000. Like, and it's like, what is going on right now? So
are
I
you
think
a suit that just decided to try the cannabis industry?
right? I think a lot of people got suckered into some big buys that are hey, I hope they got a bakery for the bread or something, right? Like that's an expensive bread oven. No, I like a cold cure, and at 60%, it's not a drastic dry out.
I love that.
So, some producers are like 7 days for dry, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what works, great. Some guys are 14 days. I'm almost a 20-day dry. Like, I let my stuff hang for 20 days. And the reason why I do that is because I like a slow, organic cure, and I want to hear that snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I take this bud, and
Ooh,
I want to hear that
was
snap.
Sexy.
Reason why I hear that snap, because if I put my stuff into a bag and seal it up and there's moisture left in that stock, it's going to rehydrate the outer flower again. And by the time it gets to market, that's where we start seeing at the beginning of the industry, start seeing a lot of molds and different fuzzes coming out on flowers, and people were losing their minds because it wasn't cured properly.
That's what I was going to ask, because that has been such a tragic issue with the legal market. Is like, okay, I don't believe anyone grew shitty weed on purpose. So when you see that like weird situation where you just touch a bud and it just bursts and evaporates, it's like irradiated. It's like, oh, so it's this process. That's such a key process in like how the bud can stay good in a package.
And fair enough to some of the growers from the beginning.
Holy fuck.
You're talking about corporate outfits, right? These huge megalithic LPs.
Yeah.
The growers are treated like, you just do what we tell you to do.
Yeah.
And it's about banging out product. And so
not how it
forget
should
it.
be
Put it in the oven, dry it out faster, pump it out. And I'm sure some growers out there had lost their hair over it and been like they slowly die inside, because if you're like me, they're like my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really am so connected to them that if I had to like see them go out unprepared, or like I did them wrong over an idea of getting more profits.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're in the wrong business.
I agree. Like, you'd quit, right?
I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
So we had to take the same approach as artists, bro, because same with me as music. It's like, I'm not going to prioritize the market over like the quality of this thing, like the culture that is like I come from, like
That's the difference
beautiful.
between like an artist-owned label or a grower-owned producer. That's nice, eh?
Bro.
So
That's the second
That's why I
one.
like to
That's
highlight. That's why I like to
beautiful. I
highlight
agree.
guys like Trees, where Ben's grower-owned.
Yes.
So it makes a difference for he has complete artistic control over that product he's putting out. There's not a suit man going, doesn't matter what you want, it's going out today.
No, he will trash his shit if it doesn't seem fire.
I know he'll trash it. He's like me, where it's like, hey, forget it, cut it down and get rid of it. If it's not good enough, start from scratch.
Reputation, you can't buy that shit. You can't you can't convince people otherwise. You have to like stick to it.
Not only that, but I think it robs the growers of the opportunity to learn. Because if it's the grower himself who hears that feedback and that criticism that, oh, your stuff was too wet or too dry, or like it burned black, or all this stuff. If the grower isn't hearing any of that, they're not going to adjust the formula. They're not going to change and try and adapt to make it better. Believe me, I've been through since the the dawn of age when I first started growing.
Yeah.
I've been through every single problem. I had talked about this on with Michael from Kindling.
I'm so sorry. I have to go.
Where are you off to?
We
Winnie's sprouting wings.
I have to go teach yoga.
All right.
So sorry.
We'll keep,
That's
we'll keep
okay.
chatting.
Have a great time. I wish I could stay longer. You're so much fun.
We'll smoke some without you.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We got lots.
Listen,
to
I'll make sure that Elle keeps a couple buds back of each one so you could try them later.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
This Bundy's got me real good.
Yeah, I know. I feel nice right now. Fuck. Yeah.
But
I'm
like
just
I
thank
said,
you, bro.
if the grower doesn't hear about it, how are they ever going to learn?
Right?
Because I've been through it where, like I said, I used to machine trim, wet trim.
Yeah.
Bought the twister machines, did it all, and then I hear about it, and I'm going, you're right. It's not as nice as it could be.
Yes. Okay, but like, oh shit, this is not me. This is me here. Yes, this is me here. Ha 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 ha. So in order to give yourself that opportunity as an artist, as an owner, you said, Ben has full creative control, and you yourself have the opportunity to give it that tailor-made attention, and that's definitely a super special part of who you are and what you bring to the market and how you stand beside your brand. It also takes a lot of something, just like an artist releasing your own music, doing your own marketing, being your own label. There's an overhead with that.
Big overhead.
There's a big, like, you have to, your craft has to make money because you're positioning it as your, like, this major contribution to your energy focus, like, in the world, and that takes a lot of courage and bravery, even if you have the resources to start, or if you don't. You got to source them, you got to build the vision and kind of fabricate all the tools that you need. We never got into it the first time when we hung, like, kind of that early stage, I don't think, of, like, building Primeau as a brand and, like, your facility and this, like, fucking, like, I don't know how far you want to get into, like, how you learn and, like, where you come from, but, like,
I'm an open book.
Yeah, so it's like you're you got a strong backbone, so you come from weed in, like, a very OG place, and then it seems like you just manifested this somehow. How did you how do you do that? How you afforded yourself the right to creatively express with your business? And that, because we're just talking about, you're shedding a whole new light on it. For me, I'm realizing most growers are probably just happy shitting in their pants, like, because they got that job, but it's still a job.
It's still a job.
Like, I don't want to be, like, okay, shouldn't say this, but I will write songs for people signed to labels, but I don't want to be a writer on staff at a label. Like that, like, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't do just what I love in any capacity. Mm-hmm. It's like you suck dick in the valley or where you grew up. It doesn't matter. Like, you're still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're still a OnlyFans girl or guy, whatever. But no, so you afforded your right. Can you? How did you do that? Because that's tremendous. And now you extend the opportunity to Trees, who's also he has his own creative expression, but, like, you went through the fucking LP and all this shit. So, like, you built a nice house for yourself. How was building that house?
It's funny. If I look at the LP side of things, I was 25, and it was just me and a laptop. I decided this is what I wanted to do. And I had absolutely no means. I come from a single mom, who was like, we were borderline on the poverty side, like farmers don't make a lot of money. And when I was, maybe around 10 years old, we had left the farm and we moved into Georgetown, Ontario. And, it's just, we didn't have a lot of money. I had to make through. So cannabis was a way for me to connect with just who I am and get me through, like everybody goes through that phase where it's like, I was listening to a lot of Tupac, right?
Yes!
Back then, where it was like, why did I have to play catch by myself? There was so many of those things growing up where like trying to find your own identity without another male figure in your life is a hard thing to do. And so cannabis had helped me actually kind of pull back and do something what you told me the other day, get perspective, right? So I started off going, this is what I want to do, but I have no means of production. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I just started with a laptop. And I started writing out the application. And this was before legalization. This was 2016, 2017. And at that time, it was the ACMPR. right? It was a medical cannabis program. So you could apply to be an LP under the medical cannabis program.
Okay.
And so I had applied. It was a 300-page, it was a big fucking stack. Got my fingerprinting done, got everything done, and I reached out to one of these local guys who had a shop out near Acton. It was like an hour away from where I was, and I just seen an ad for a shop. And again, I was daydreaming. I was like, oh, here's a shop here on Kijiji, and I start going on it. And then I reached out, and I said, like, this is what I would like to do with it. I want to do a canvas. And the guy was going, oh, that's interesting. And he's the one who like came in, and he was the funding. Like, he was the guy who's like, listen, if this is something that you want to do, like, I'd only fucking just met the guy in Kijiji, and we started talking, but I talked with him, and he's like, okay, well, listen, I could provide you with some funding. And that's how we ended up going into business. And I started off it gave me complete silent partner creative control and
Kijiji hustle,
right? And so
my bro,
fair enough that when I got that shop, I started growing medically, right? Starting out, and it was great. I have such a good relationship with my partner.
Wow.
That we decided, okay, like, I did up the application. Again, I had no means, and he believed enough in me to actually put up the initial.
So you showed the work, though. You had started running with the dream.
I did, and then what ended up happening was legalization comes into 2018. My application gets kicked back from the government. We'd like you to reapply under the Cannabis Act now. And I was like, no, I just spent like the last year of my life doing up this, so
my God.
All my standardized operating procedures, like I had to learn how to do those from scratch. And when I went to go do them, they were all referencing the ACMPR.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I have to change them to reference the Cannabis Act. And so it was a big thing. But I've been on the grind to become a licensed producer since 2017. I finally got licensed in 2021. And we literally just hit the market in Ontario 2023. Like, it's a very slow, and if you're doing it organically.
Yeah.
And when I came in, like you said, I came from more of a old school background.
Yeah.
That I don't have these corporate connections. So I didn't even know B2B was an option or who to sell to or whatever. I was just growing crops and going, okay, what am I going to do now? And
moving pounds.
And yeah, getting in with OCS was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
If it wasn't for OCS, I wouldn't be here. I would have already moved on. I would have went like, it didn't work out.
Thank you for allowing us to keep Wallace in the cannabis industry, OCS.
Yeah, they were really good with us, especially being local and
That's
small.
Incredible.
Like I said, they gave me my first 2 drops, which was the lava cake and the dough for me to launch on the market.
I love that.
And that there
As you
gave me
should.
the backbone to be able to go, okay, I can continue moving forward. And now I've got hot cakes and the grease. It's a 7-gram craft mill that's dropping in this month.
What?
And then in springtime, I've got 4 new SKUs. I've got a sampler of pre-roll. So the Cap Junkie and the Bundy's going to come as 2 1 grams together as a pre-roll.
The Ellevan, what?
Yeah. The 11's going to be dropping. And then I've got...
I'm going to have to do a freestyle for that.
Then I have another craft sampler where I've got... Right now I'm growing a strain called Banana Papaya.
Dude.
From Ani. And it's like the different phenos. Again, I'm doing 3 different phenos of it because I have a hard time. I always get down to the bottom 3, the top 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which one am I going to pick? So I've got like a cherry cough syrup.
Oh, what?
And I really, really like it.
I need that one.
So, my whole point is that I started off with 2. They gave me new SKUs. And now, again, they're supporting me enough to let me drop 4 new SKUs in the spring.
You're doing good, though, Like, you're killing it. You're out here. Everyone fucking brings you up, bro, when they're talking about, like, people who are... Like when you ask an important question of who is the brand, and it's like the answer from CEOs is, well, not everyone can be Wallace of Primo. Like
no.
I'm serious. And people who like work at stores, they know like you're out there. So I know it takes such a tremendous amount of energy and time, but when you're really excited about what you're doing, like when you talk about your weed, it's like when I talk about my songs. I like and the way you like find them down to find the best parts and keep refining them and you just want to make it better. So it's like you're contributing so greatly to the world, period. But then it's really nice and special to have you in this space. And that's the way I'm trying to think of it now is the space gets to hold us for a while. Like,
absolutely.
was talking to Shabazz of Kind. I told him that because I'm like, no matter what you decide to do, I think he's a great kind of nucleus for networks and stuff. I'm like, whatever, however you decide to leverage that, you know, however long cannabis has, you know, with you, it's like we get a great thinker and a great networker for however long you're interested in weed. And if the industry can afford to keep you or not, time will tell. And how the community acts, or you know, there's a certain element to it. And like, you know, I'm glad that you got that kind of miracle funding from Kijiji Hustling, because the pathway will create its way. Mm-hmm. Right? Like for you, if you just believe in it, but it takes so much courage to do that.
You know, we talk about manifesting and stuff, eh? Like you have to believe in it, but to actually believe in it, you also have to do it.
Well, it's like the only way to prove it to yourself is to see it.
That's it. Like, so I could go like, you know, I really hope one day I can become a licensed producer and I can do this. But if I just leave it with that hope and a wish on a star, you know, like you have to swim. You have to swim, you know. And if you find yourself swimming against the current too much, sometimes you got to learn to let go as well.
That's a big one as well. Don't get too caught up or lost in your desires, but also just like, I visualize this thing where you're like, just walk forward, even though it seems like, you know, in those movies in the 80s, they're like walking in a big open space, and as they're walking, like the ground like manifests under them, animates. Like you got to sometimes just do that. Like every next step, if you look down as a logical person, you just see an infinite dark void that you're going to fall into. But if you like believe and like use your momentum to like go forward, then you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I'm going.
And you reach the Holy Grail.
Fuck.
Which one's this?
Bro, that's the second one. So
that's the peanut butter?
Yes, yeah.
It's mean,
yes.
It's nice.
It is. It's the peanut butter. Dude, that's nuts. Oh my god. Okay, let me I want to keep going here.
Yeah. This is your grow room.
Yeah, bro, exactly.
This is where you grow. This is your domain,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And you get to decide everything that happens in here.
And I'll take it, win or lose. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's I think that approach is
You know, it's funny. I was talking with
the most fun.
I don't know if you ever met Christian from Hawthorne's.
From where?
Christian works for Hawthorne's. He's one of the hydroponic suppliers. Anyways, Christian. Okay. You used to work at, when I was growing up, we had a good family friend. I consider my uncle was Richie Rich.
Uncle Rich. Hey,
so
Uncle Rich.
Richie owned the Ontario Seed Bank on Lakeshore.
Oh, fuck.
So Richie was the first, North America's first seed bank.
Oh,
so
my God.
you would go to Richie to go purchase your seeds, and it was for novelty purposes only, right? But you used to go there to go pick up your stuff, and that's what, you know, like when I was 19, I started hanging around the seed bank.
Speaking of seeds. Got a seed.
Ooh, nice.
If you want, right there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like those. So
did you just
when I was at when I was at the seed bank hanging out with Rich, you know, I learned from all these different growers and stuff. But Rich used to tell me there's 3 types of weed.
You are a weed.
There's good weed, bad weed, and no weed. Right? And there really is no bad weed. It's just bad growers. And sometimes it's not even bad growers. It's just bad business practices, right? And so that's why I was trying to say that it makes a big difference. If the grower doesn't have complete creative control,
yes,
then you're not getting a product that's represented. And I feel bad because, you know, like I know how I feel when I put a flower out and you're like, yo, that's the fucking flower. That's the nice one. I know how I feel inside.
Yes.
Right? And so I feel like they get robbed of that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Or if you were like, I don't like this. This is garbage. And, you know, again, maybe it's a double-edged sword that they go, well, it wasn't my decision to, you know. But again, they have to.
No, but it's still their name on that fucking line, though, right? Like,
yeah.
If I produce a song, I produce that song. If that person puts that out, it is a reflection on me as a producer. You know, that track is there, and that mixing and everything. You are being judged at face value for sure, and your name association, reputation is truly important. But also, you can't get too caught up in what people think. But for sure, if you're searching for the right type of feedback, I think
not once have I ever gone on Reddit.
Yeah,
I've only hold on.
Neither,
I've only gone on Reddit once to post a picture of Hall of Flowers. It was me, you, and Ben. Yeah, that was the only time I was like, great time at Hall of Flowers, and I posted, and then people were like, this isn't what Reddit's for. right? Like
Oh,
it was like
really?
And I was
See,
like,
fuck
man,
off, Reddit.
I don't know.
Get the fuck-
I don't want to share me and my buddies hanging out at like just having a culture event where we're
That's
here
it.
hanging out. We're all fucking stoned. We're having a great time.
That's we, baby. That's weed in Canada. That's us. That's we.
But I know it could be, like you said, getting back to your point, that sometimes it's important not to listen as well, or know when you can pull back.
Yeah.
And that's why I make it a general practice that I just stay off of Reddit, because sometimes it can be a little bit of a negative environment just for everybody.
1000%. Yeah, I don't. Reddit seems like it takes too much focus to read. Like, if I'm gonna put that much focus on reading something, it's gonna be like a really good book.
Yeah, I just don't have time to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
between everything else that goes on, I also write, so like I'd rather spend the time writing.
You write?
Yeah, I write, I don't know what you call them, young adult, history, like like they're not really like.
What? That's
I like
sick,
doing
bro.
stories. So like, I just wrote this one book. It's called Breakaway.
Bro, you're writing
And-
out here?
Yeah, and it's about a 16-year-old kid whose dad gets conscripted. It's during the time of the creation of the Hudson's Bay Company, right? So it's like 1670. This kid's from Cornwall in England, and his dad gets conscripted to go down to Hudson's Bay and start working for the Hudson's Bay Company, because they conscripted guys back then, right? And so the whole story follows this kid trying to find his dad in the New World as this stowaway, and like again, I smoke some chronic, and I start trying to delve into some stories, and I'd rather spend my time creating positive things, even just in stories, and just like trying to inspire my own self, or like one day hopefully my kids like they're getting up there, I'm hoping that she's going to start reading, and I'd rather create these positive messages and spend my energy doing that in my spare time than reading and feeling critical of myself, like or trying to be like really wearing that third mask. You know what I mean? That like I'm putting on for everybody to see.
It's truly a sign of common mental illness, how attached to the opinion of others we are, thanks to the animation of it. It's been animated.
Yeah.
And we're just fucking obsessed with this animation. We're like, oh, digital hearts. I wonder if that person clicky on my photo, clicky on my picky. And it's like cool to quantify the social impact. I think that's the fair statement.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fair to
Yeah.
quantify the social impact by how many people what's the word? I think people like, it's like I recognize you, I see you, when they like support your content online. There's like this element of resonating,
Yeah.
and that's great, and it can be really powerful for that. But just remember, like, it's not the real thing. Like, it is the internet. It has been modified as a game to affect your thinking. Like, it's not, you're right. Like, we get very caught in it, like it's real, like, because it is real, but it isn't. And you're right. The real impact is going to be the book
Check
you
your screen.
leave here.
Check your screen time.
Check your screen. And
You know,
also,
like-
think about death, too. At the end of
That's it.
your life, you can leave a book here, or you can leave a bunch of posts that got, like, mediocre likes.
Yeah, and like without getting into too much personal, you know what I mean? But we talked about this when I first got here. So,
Yeah.
like I'm going through some stuff with my mom's, with this cancer, and and death is not far from my mind at most days these days, right? Like it's a blessing to be around every day. So why waste any time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was actually, my mom's in the hospital right now at Credit Valley. I was talking with her, and she, what she told me before I left? She's like, I'm really proud of you for what you've done with Primeau. And she's like, just do whatever's right for you and your family. Doesn't care about the, stigma of society and whatever. But my mom's always been pro, not legalization, but decriminalization.
Yes.
Where she's like, it should just be, it's for the people. It's a very spiritual plant. The way my family looks at it, it's a very spiritual plant.
Yeah. I love the idea. Love to your mom. Prayers to your mom. Thank you for contributing so greatly to the world. And it's so great to it must be great to see the manifestation of what you've done with Primeau, because her love lives on. Talk about leaving something behind, like, you know, and we believe in life and miracles happen, and I think she, you know,
For sure. I'm always keeping it in the light.
you know, so but we're also like the impact, you know, your love is here forever. So shout out Mama Primeau again, because
That's
you,
it. Because
you have affected,
time is precious.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny. I just did Under the Influence. I just did a thing with Terry O'Reilly a little while ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it was on my birthday, so it was last month on the 12th.
Hey!
And one of the things I told him, I said I really wanted to leave it on an upswing, you know. And I said we were talking about obstacles I faced going through doing the legalization. How do you get the backbone? How do you have the courage? All this stuff. And I really want to put out there for anybody who's listening who feels like they want to know. I'll shout out one guy right now is Buzzin Therapeutics. Buzzin on Instagram, phenomenal grower.
Yeah.
His wife's a Primeau too, right? Well,
Hey.
we've never met. They're really nice guy. You know, I could see him becoming a grower, but maybe not wanting to take that step because it seems like it's such a Goliath thing that you have to do. You have to get through all of this stuff. But my main message on Terry O'Reilly's thing is that if I can do it, you can do it. All you got to do is just believe in it,
Hey.
and really go for it. You know, like.
Major facts.
Yeah, because life's too short to go, I wish I did that.
Yeah, fuck that outcome. You definitely want to be at least like at the end of it, like, oh, I gave it my all.
And being yourself. Can you imagine if I had to, like, at these shows and not all these things and just because the problem with Primeau, like I'll say, is that I become the look at this. It's nice.
Give it back to you.
You snagged this from me at the movie.
You left it at the smoke-a-thon.
Yeah.
But I've been using it.
You know, the thing with Primeau, I've had other brands say this to me: be careful becoming too much of the face, because then if you do something wrong, then the whole brand. And I'm going,
Can't live in fear.
I'm going. Well, hold on a second. Like, okay, I agree. Maybe it's not great, but it works. It works for us. It works for me that, you know, like, if I be myself. So imagine if I had to paint a face on every day to get up and go to work and, you know, be this image of a brand and all this stuff. Man, I couldn't do it.
You're faking it. What are you, Justin Trudeau?
Yeah, right. Shh, don't. Mom and Dad's probably listening to this one.
Oh, man.
No, but you know what? I couldn't do it. You know, so I'd rather just if you find yourself swimming against the current,
Yeah.
and it feels inorganic, chances are it's time to let go and find something else. Sometimes that current will pull you down to somewhere else.
And you can serve better. Like I feel like it's dancing with the devil if you're just like in a life where you're like uncertain. It's like there's uncertainty in everything, but like uncertain of like who you are, where you stand, what you're doing, like what's your primary aim and focus in life. Like it must be bone chilling to your core. That must fuck with you every day, like until you have this self-precedent setting freedom to be original in your path. I think you haven't really started your momentum towards your impact potential in your life.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? As you speak, I'm thinking to myself, the commonality between me and you, you know, like I could just see that I couldn't be put into a box throughout my educational, you know, like back, you know, I'm talking about like high school and stuff. You couldn't do it. I had to be out of the box. And I feel like that really helps being an artist today.
Oh, yeah.
It really helps you because the conformity of being fit into a box, you know, some people may be okay to paint a face on and go out to work and go do their thing. And they come home and they take the mask off and they do their stuff. But I don't like wearing a mask ever. And so, bro, you know, like when
authentic,
when I was at the Kind Winter Gala, it was a great event, right? And the only thing was that where they had picked the venue was the Art Gallery of Ontario.
Weren't you supposed to be the official joint being passed out there?
Yeah, well, we were the pre-roll sponsor, so, you know, people were supposed to be walking around handing out joints. But when we got there, AGO changed their mind, or maybe they didn't ever, but whatever it was, no cannabis on site. So we're at a cannabis industry event, but there's no cannabis on site. Free bar, though, for alcohol.
Oh, it's a drinking event.
It's a drinking event. So again, for me, like, I'm standing there and you know, even to dress up in a suit and tie, it's not really me, but I'll do it. You know, like I'll take my wife out and like it'd be nice to go. And you know, Ben was gracious enough that we met him out there with Vanessa, his wife, and we had a great night. But I felt it was the first time in this industry since I've started that I felt like I might have to put a mask on right now to get through this, because it just was so out of my norm being in an alcohol, only setting. And it was funny enough, I seen Sam and his daughter from Sticky Nugs, right?
Oh, you found the real ones.
We found, but it was like magnets. It was just great. I seen Sam. I'm like, Sam, what's the chances you want to go out and smoke a joint? He's like, whenever you're ready. And that's what we did. We spent more time outside.
Yep.
And it was supposed to be this private pre-roll lounge. When we got outside, it was a sidewalk, and then the security comes out and was like, no, you guys have to stay in like 50 feet down the road.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? In an alleyway, basically, right? And it's just it's that term that I always hear you and Blunts and Beans talk about, dignified consumption.
Yes, sir. Apparently, I gave Blunts and Beans Alexis credit for that, but apparently she learned it from Amanda Breeze.
Oh, there you go.
Who's also a part of the team for Can Expo this next year coming up. So good people all around here, full circle. But, I told her that, and, all of them have all said, like, we're all here spreading this message together. So now you carry that message as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
listen, I learned all about it, and then after I was thinking about it,
that's too bad about your experience, though. It's a company, and we got love for Kind for sure, but sometimes it's choices like that make you think like, okay, you're out of touch with like the core root of this, the cultural values. Like that's when you start to see something get too big for their own good.
Sometimes though, I got to think. Kind's been very kind to us.
We are the first commission media to fucking be.
I actually think that Kind tailored the event around who was actually going to the event in the majority, because the majority of the people were there were executives.
So they don't
They
even.
were very corporate.
Well,
so I don't think
problem,
they actually
though.
consume cannabis.
So that's the problem, though. Then, so for me, it's like you cornered them all in one room. Great. Like, okay, let's have a conversation about this. But that's weird to hear. The gala last year was pretty poppin'. It was at that Grand Bazaar place.
Okay, yeah.
And like it was a lot of people from the industry that and there was a lot of great connections actually made that night. And it seemed like that was kind of the magic hour of that, space, because as the industry evolves, relationships are made, bills got to get paid. But it's like the priority though at a weed event should be one of them,
right?
Weed.
100%.
No, so I mean, what's the most common form of weed? Sure, you can sneak in a Sweet Justice, if you want, but like you can't even make it like a semi. Like I'm not even asking for like a full couch, but like damn, like there should be like, wow, let's lose it here and throw a couple chairs in.
Well, when you're talking about an event with an open bar,
that's fucked.
Why isn't there any sheesh soda? Why isn't there any teapot?
There wasn't.
No, man, it was an open bar of alcohol.
So that's just not.
I waited.
Like, I don't
I
fuck with
man,
that.
I waited a half
drink.
an hour in line. I finally get up there, and then the guy says, "What do you want?" I said, "Man, I just want a ginger ale because I got pasties because I've been outside smoking."
Yeah, actually
with
being
the
a stoner.
stoners. Yeah, so. That was the only time where
shit.
I felt like I might have to actually put on a mask here, because I just felt like a fish out of water.
So I feel like this exists sometimes in celebrity culture. I don't even want to call it artist culture, celebrity culture. Being around like some of the big YouTubers, you'll see talent in their crew, but they're not allowed to speak because of like the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And like they're just sucking the suit's cock with the fucking alcohol there for sure, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, here, come be comfortable at this, but it breeds the wrong type of connection. I think that cannabis, if you're partaking in the business and you want the business to go well, it benefits you to understand the culture. And the culture of cannabis is a lot more calm. A relationship like Ben and Wallace will come from cannabis, because you almost go into your feelings and you feel life, and you allow the trajectory of your next moves in the business to be affected by your intuition. And like that's led by the sensitivity to who's going to receive this, what community will support. Like the boxes are all checked when you allow this other edge of almost, I'm going to call it emotional intelligence, to operate while networking. And the reason why I think some cannabis brands are just kind of like still jerking money into the ether, because they're not thinking where it's going to land, because they have no clue, because they're waiting on a database to tell them about their demographics, because they're not actually participating. So it's like when you say, you're basically telling me, you're like, I'm the only real motherfucker in the room. Like at a weed event.
No, Ben was there.
And Sam was there.
and Sam was there.
I know there were some real motherfuckers, but it's like, okay, either everyone's playing along wearing a mask, or everyone hasn't really dug as deep. And I'm not judging drinkers again. Like, I think, sure, go party. But like, specifically at a cannabis, something I know that cannabis paid the rent on.
100%.
Right? Like, you should at least throw a fucking ode up, throw a shrine in the corner. You just figure out some way for like those who are the real deal want to spend their night. So that's too bad to hear that, and I hope that it starts to evolve in a clearer direction. But knowing the inside of it, it probably won't.
You know,
And
when you
that's
talk
okay.
about stigma, though, I mean, you know, like
you're still treating me like a fucking got to go smoke crack in the alley with fucking crackhead McGee here.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, well, like, okay, so being the pre-roll sponsor, they have pre-rolls on a platter. And, you know, in the event, it's supposed to be 19 and older, right? Like, again, it's to keep it out of the youth. People were walking around and they'd be handing out joints and it would say Primo on it or trees on it. And people would know, okay, that these are the sponsors. They get to try out your product. These are people, it's a very corporate B2B setting, right? So like if you want to network and someone go, oh wow, this is really nice. I didn't know you grew something like this, and you're interested in doing a B2B model, which is business to business, where you're going to grow for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic networking event.
Yeah.
However, when there's no cannabis involved,
Jesus.
you could go to someone like, hi, my name's Wallace. I grow fantastic chronic. They're going to go, yeah, nice to meet you. You know, like
no cannabis on site.
No cannabis on site.
Are you fucked? Wasn't it at the art gallery?
It was at the art gallery. So
Art
the
and weed go together like.
And I don't know who owns the art gallery. Is it the city? It's got to be government owned.
It got to be.
It's got to be. Like I would think so. Maybe I'm incorrect, but
fuck, that's funny, dude. So like, that's wax sauce.
Everybody there is a legal producer. You know what I mean? It's a cannabis industry event.
Was everyone more nervous? Because think about how many people are there who might even watch this and be like, yeah, I wanted to smoke a joint, but I just had too much anxiety about being judged. And because that situation and that classic
you were the black sheep. If you went to go smoke weed at that event, you know, like, believe me when I say I was a fish out of water, there was plenty of fishes there swimming and being comfortable, and you know what I mean, like drinking, and it was their scene. Whereas for me, you know, wearing a suit and tie is one thing. I like to go out, sure, whatever, but I'm more comfortable like this. I like to wear a hoodie and a toque, and I'm smoking my joint, and we're shooting the shit, and we can actually just be people.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of peacocks going around at the show,
and that's where you're basically just wasting time. Like you're just flailing your ego and like using this event to like try and muster up some sort of self-gratification. And that's just like, just go to a bar then. Like go, like you can go to any bar. But like I feel like in the industry there's opportunities missed like that. And what I want to see is what I'm basically trying to evolve and change with my events is bring the focus, you know, into something where we can all participate and vibe out together, and like the frequency is forthcoming and, you know, connective. And there's special groups that I did as a music artist, like Rise out of Scarborough. You know, there's almost a sacredness to when we gather, and that's very based in art and expression, and you know, there's a community support there. And I think from what I see of the cannabis like culture community, not like the industry community, but the culture community, basically if you went to Lift outside was, you know, that's
happening.
where it really was, right? So it's like all the B2B stuff inside Lift, it was a waste of investment, anyone basically, to even step foot inside the Metro Convention Center.
I was there in a booth.
I know. I'm sorry.
and I missed it.
We came and saw you. We loved you. We great to see you. But I'm just like basically, and so I'm not trying to throw shade or shots at like all these things. I commend everyone, Kind and Lift and all these people for being the basically pioneers, and you're gonna take a lot on the chin.
100%, and they really
appreciate that.
They really are pioneers. I mean, like Kind throws amazing events. I mean,
What's all important?
Don't get me wrong. The
Everyone's
gala
playing their role, like, but to what we were saying though, that point of like, it was outside. Like, what's the community really saying? Like, not this little bullshit inside song and dance. Like, who got the bigger company or grow? Like, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's get back to the hang.
No, there was a reason why the majority of the night I was outside smoking. Like I said, it was phenomenal. Like when you walked into the place, it was a beautiful setting.
The food was good.
The food was the food. I was trying to look for the food. The appetizers were coming past me. I got a couple little things. The food that I got was phenomenal. And it was nice to do that. And fucking thank God when I walked in, and I'm standing there. 'Cause you got to imagine, I'm standing there. I'm just kind of taking a breath, looking around because it's a lot happening. Everybody's in suits. It's a very corporate thing. Everybody's got cocktails and drinking, and I'm kind of going like biting my lip, going like I want to go smoke a joint, but and kind of feel in my element. And I look over and I see Jesse Paul, and he's wearing the pink leopard, and fucking.
He was doing photography?
Yeah, man, he was doing the photography. And so I just went over to Jesse. I was like, thank God you're here, man, because right away, just like, again, I just felt, yeah, man, I just felt so good. And I just gravitated to Jesse all night, and
it's nice to have the homies in the cut like that. And that's the thing, like most times with these events, you'll either have to be participating, working, or basically, that's the move. And it's just like we'd like to see more opportunities for people to come together on a social level. Like we love doing our shows, and like you got to sell tickets for the overhead, but it's like once these lounges open up, I feel like more people will be able to come. Everything is a business, so it's like we're gonna have to accept that. Like there's an investment to do everything and anything, but like even to go to the lounges or whatever. But like so many more opportunities open up when the community can collect momentum together.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's the key word. We need more community.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, and it's great. There's a weed community. When I say the weed community in the industry, it's that same people who come out to every show. And again, I love seeing them. It's phenomenal. Yeah. As a brand, like me personally, I love seeing them, right? Like, like, hey, that's like, I've made friends, like it's great seeing people. But as a brand, you also want to be able to get that expansion and get that brand awareness. And that's where, like, if you leave the community out of it, like you can't bust through. It's like this glass wall that just won't let you can see through it, but you just can't get through it. And I think
so? In what direction? Okay,
so right now, if I want to have a consumer learn about Primeau,
wow,
the only place that they're going to be learning that's the biscotti. So the only place they can learn about Primeau, because you have to restrict your promotions and all this stuff, is really at a store if they purchase Primeau. But that's if a store stocks Primeau.
Or if third-party creators make a great, clever asset.
That as well, right? Hey, like that as well.
But no, exposure from events.
Exposure from events, but you have to find a way to bring the community in, and the only way to do that is really to erase the stigma so that the community
isn't scared.
Yeah, or mom and dad who's kind of holding the community back, who's put up this wall, is going to take it down and go, okay, you know what, this isn't going to be reefer madness. These are people who are able to come together, and
we're going to the Cannabis Expo just like you're going to the fair.
That's exactly it.
Go check it out. Oh, and there's botanicals involved, Mom. This will improve your knowledge of growing your tomatoes.
Absolutely. And not only that, but imagine you're a consumer who doesn't really know a whole lot about cannabis, but here's that there's an event going on like Re-Up, right? You come out and you have nothing but knowledge in there. Yeah. Public education is number one.
And the good people that you should hear it from. Like, people go hearsay, she say, hey, you know this cannabis we're smoking? He made it. You got any questions?
Yeah,
like how huge is that? What an opportunity.
Well, and it's nice to be able to go, oh, you know what? I smoke their stuff all the time. You're the grower. Oh, sweet. You know what I mean? Like, you get that connection.
That must feel good, too.
I love that.
That's why you're the beautiful heart of it. People can feel, dude.
I do love that.
Me too, man. When someone like, oh my God, someone threw my lyrics at me the other day in a DM, and I was like, you listen. It was so nice. Like, it's like, you took the time. Thank you.
Yeah, that's because you care. It's because you care.
It means literally the world to me. Like, it means there's so much wisdom in that. Like, that is my chief aim in life, is to like serve in that capacity. So when someone says like, this is great, like, without getting too caught in your ego and thinking you're the best ever. I mean, you should actually have the confidence of thinking you can be the best you. But yeah, there's something cosmic about that tickle. Just like a little affirmation that's like, keep on rocking.
Hey, it's a great feeling, and I like to chase that feeling sometimes, right? Like that's what inspires me to go like, okay, come out with another banger, right?
Yes.
And don't
Dude.
get too complacent doing the same thing over and over again. That's why, like, right away, I'm moving on. The Lav and the Dough, they'll make their place back again.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm moving on to the hot cakes, the grease, the Bundy, the biscotti, the peanut butter breath. Like, it was that was a scary jump, is moving away from the comfort.
I'm going to need a couple of these big Bundy buds, bro, because we're going to have to smoke that again. I love this, but I'm with Winnie right away.
You like the Bundy.
The Bundy's my fave.
Okay, I got to get you to try Bundy 1, though, because like I said, that one's a bit more
that
cookies.
this?
That's it, this one,
Okay.
yeah. It's a bit more cookies when it's growing. And like I said,
Oh my God.
a lazy grower grows cookies, right?
I love that.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, it produces well.
No, this is nuts, though. Let me say. There's like some linalool in this. Like, there's something special in there. That's unique.
The biscotti cake, it's just finicky, though.
Is it?
Yeah, which is nice because
But look how
just when
fucking-
you think when you got everything figured out,
Yeah.
you know, it puts you back on your toes.
The floralness,
Crack it
it smells
right
like...
into the mic. You guys probably can't hear it. It sounds like a bone break, eh? Like,
Oh my God, bro. That's delicious. Like, there's something floral about it.
it's so. Fuck, I just got a fucking nose full of
Little
smoke.
double
I'm
banger.
gonna go. It smells like smoke.
Bread and toast.
Yeah. Oh, that is nice, eh?
Like, so it smells like light.
You know
light
my
purple to
actual
me.
favorite part of cannabis
What?
is smelling it and tasting it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why normally when you see me at these shows, I always have a joint in my mouth because I'm dry toking, because
Same.
that is the most enjoyment that I really get. Like, I enjoy the high, enjoy everything that comes along with that, but I just love the senses for the nose. So again,
Spot for later.
yeah,
Can I take a short one?
Fruity Pebble OG,
Bro.
Animal Mints, Cherry Pie, and Thin Mint Cookie.
That's what the Bundy is?
That's the Bundy.
Okay, can we do the Bundy one then too?
Let's roll it up.
Yeah. Holy fuck, bro. Okay, we're gonna roll this Bundy one. I'm gonna
So
put this
2024, what's it look like for the disciplined stoners?
Oh, I'm so excited, bro. I can't let a full cat out the bag yet.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be
Suspense is building.
This is what's building for us too, and it's been a couple years in the making. So yeah, that's gonna be good. So you'll see soon. But what am I doing with Ellevan? I'm doing something real cool. I mean, the podcast is just it's a steady mainstay, and it's just constantly rising.
I love this pod, eh?
Thank you so much, bro. I so appreciate that.
No, honestly, like, I mention this pod all the time, eh?
Yo, I so appreciate
All the shows,
bro.
even with Terry O'Reilly, I was like, listen, let me tell you about, I don't know if you heard about the Disciplined Stoners, but they put me onto this. Like,
Yo,
you know,
bro.
I love watching because you get a
Love,
chance
man.
to see people in the industry and just outside of the industry. You go into so many different things. You've got comedians coming on, you've got musicians coming on, you've got filmmakers coming. There's so many different avenues.
Dude.
And the fact that you guys remain yourselves, you know what I mean?
Thank
it just
you, bro.
adds to that authenticity, right?
That's always been my intention and goal, is kind of like, you know, sometimes when you see someone living in their ego identity, fulfilling their role, whether they're hosting the Oscars or in a job interview or just in a friendship at lunch, I overhear people acting out their expected roles, and I often have this comedic fourth wall break moment where the person just, I imagine them just like saying the thing they really feel. Like, well, that's okay because I'm jealous. like something where it's just like too real for, like, no one would ever say that. You'd have to be nuts. And I am kind of nuts. So my own show, I always said, is just going to be like whatever that kid with Tourette's in the class would say at any point during an interview. and like it's not even an interview because we're just hanging out smoking weed.
Al likes to do that Jim Halpert thing, where he just looks at the camera every now and then, like in the middle of talking, and just go right.
Because look at it, like I like to have the meta self-awareness, but dude, thank you so much for being such a cheerleader of the show.
Oh, you kidding me?
The
Like,
mutual love is there entirely, and we fucking love singing your praises.
It's so funny because, like I said, the Can Expo, and it was at the Tether Buds event on the Sunday.
Yes.
And I had no clue what I was walking into, right? Like, I got my samples made up. I go, and I'm running behind because I'm shooting the shit with these two guys at the booth. And also I'm like, oh, you know what? It's 11:55. I better go because it's in the other room, the other hall there. And, I got to go get my booth set up.
I remember doing the announcements for that.
Man, I got there and there was a lineup of like 300 people deep.
Yeah.
And they were starting to come in and I was just like, whoa, I came in and I never experienced anything like that. It's just some people were just grabbing samples and going, and it was such a tight space to do that stuff. But then out comes these two guys, right? Like, you got Winnie and Ellevan show up.
Love, bro.
And they're wearing this matching green jumpsuits, and it was I don't know what it is, man, but right away I just had such a great energy and feeling from you guys. And then come to find out as we talk more and more, our backgrounds are so similar, like where we came from and even the neighborhood. We lived in the same neighborhood,
dude,
for years, and we shopped at the same grocery stores and all this stuff at the same period, and at the same period in life where we're both on this struggle where you're living basically paycheck to paycheck. You're in Toronto. I'm just you're trying to make anything work.
Yeah.
And yet you're going to the what was it? Was it the soap? No, what was
Loblaws up
Loblaws. You'd splurge with the juice, right? You get that freshly squeezed juice and you'd splurge on it.
You couldn't afford it. You had to get that over food. We both got juice over food.
And I used to macaroni, butter, salt, and pepper, and I'd have my freshly squeezed juice though, right?
At that place, they had this. I think it was the end of a day deal because I used to only go in the evening on the way back from downtown. The chicken fingers, you would get like a whole fucking pack of 20 for like $9 or something. Oh man, I'd eat then and later that night and the next day for like $10, and I was like fucking right on chicken fingers. Basically eating like a 5-year-old.
Right? Well, Albert's Real Jamaican Food.
Yeah,
Eastern
that was
Twist,
on that blog.
Menchie's
Menchie's open.
That's how we time stamped it, eh?
Yeah, because Menchie's
I was going,
open.
hold on, you were there when Menchie's open? I was there when Menchie's, I was at
Starbucks was on the corner.
I was on Raglan, which was St. Clair West and Bathurst. You guys were at Vaughan.
Yeah.
Right?
St. Clair.
And St. Clair, we lived like a stone's throw away and we never knew. And so it was just so funny that life had actually allowed us to meet, and
we must have crossed paths, and not even known it. We must have been at the store. Who knows?
It's crazy to think about.
Have nodded at each
Back
other.
then, I was smoking a pound a month, bong. So I rarely left. I left the apartment to go to school. I used to wake up, brush my teeth, clean my bong, and smoke maybe like a half quarter, and then I would fuck off up to York, go do my school. I was doing environmental science. I'd come home, and I'd fucking bonging it all day, all night. That was my lifestyle.
Yeah. So you wouldn't smoke at school?
No, never.
Really?
Never. I only smoked at the session. The session was, my couch, the coffee table, all this shit all over, and I never drank the water, so I always had bottles of water around. And
Yes.
and back then I used to always get a fucking resin ring on the bong, and so I'd always have a little tissue to wipe the corner of your mouth. And that was that lifestyle though. And I look back and I think, fuck man, all those times I sat there smoking sessions by myself. My man was just around the corner. You know what I mean?
I remember when we lived there. That is when, because I moved out. The reason why we lived in such a shitty little place is because I fucking figured out how to afford it by myself. Because me and Winnie were at 23 years old, and me and Winnie were long distance because she had just went to LA and became a yoga instructor, and she was paying back her debt to the yoga company that sponsored her to go to yoga school. And she was like, maybe we should just wait. I'm like, no. So I found it, and I had just been living with my bandmate and an actor friend, and I had just started smoking weed fairly regularly, and I didn't tell Winnie that yet, basically. So
you were blazing before Winnie was blazing?
Oh, for sure in life, but I mean, me and Winnie started smoking together basically, like
Nice.
Yeah, on a
healthy couple.
Exactly, right? So early on, and there's a funny story that goes with that, but I remember in that place, it's so funny that you should bring up smoking weed and hanging out there, because that was the place that I basically started to roll my own joint. I remember I couldn't roll joints, and I was using those Juicy J filters.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd roll like 3 or 4 or 5 joints like for the next, like, you know, whatever, like week maybe at that point, like that. Maybe I'd smoke like a joint a day, and I still remember in that place feeling judged by Winnie and feeling kind of guilty for smoking weed. It would have been amazing to have a smoke buddy.
Oh man, I used to like. You know, my wife and I, we've been together since I was 16, grade 11.
That's
so
another thing we have in common.
That is another
I
thing.
was 18. You were 16, but that's amazing. Holy.
Well, and then I moved out of the house. I got my own place when I was 17 with Katie, and we just, you know, I worked construction, used to make $100 a day demoing, you know, like just ripping out all this old asbestos and drywall and stuff.
Totally.
Garbage bags up and down, and like, you know, and then I was going to school and, you know, living off of my OSAP and just, you know, like, but what really kept us together is we both really weren't drinkers at all. Yeah. Like our nice night was we'd literally fucking smoke chronic and watch like The Office was premiering at that time, or you know what I mean, like, or she was right into the Real Housewives of New Jersey, you know what I mean, like
just watch TV together.
Yeah, we watch movies and TV and just smoke weed and just.
You got food, you got weed, you got each other, you got the opposite sex or the same sex for some people. But you know, it's like
happy, healthy couples.
There you go.
Right. You toke together, it's nice, and it's just recently, like, you know, I had to slow down when you have kids. Could be smoking bongs all day and all night, right? And especially if you have aspirations to keep on driving, you have less and less time to smoke bongs all day and all night.
Yeah, bongs you get high.
And it's like a shotgun. The last bong I smoked, like I hadn't smoked bong for a couple years, and then Jesse had me on for this back alley bong rips.
Love that.
And I was so nervous. And I'm like, Jesse, listen, I haven't smoked bong in like 4 years. Like I used to be the bong guy. Like, you know what I mean? Used to smoke a lot in a bong, but we smoked some
What'd you smoke?
orange mimosa from Into the Weeds.
Okay.
From Brian and Chantel out in Alberta. They're micro.
Oh, that's nice. Because at first you didn't smoke other weed.
No, I've always smoked my own stuff, and so Jesse's like, no. Brian and Chantel are phenomenal growers as well, right? Like Into the Weeds. I met them at the Can Expo.
Nice.
And we stayed in touch, and they're from Alberta. They're really nice people.
Alberta got cool peeps in the game, man.
Yeah, they grow. You know, right now they're growing a peanut butter breath, the extra nut cut, and it's
what?
Yeah, the extra nut cut.
Extra nut cut.
So it was really really nice, and I smoked that with Jesse at the bong, and fuck man, I got destroyed.
Oh my god.
So I enjoy now. The Katie and I at night, once the kids are asleep, we like to go out and smoke a pre-roll, and you know, and enjoy the high and be functioning and do our things, right?
Oh god.
And when I'm working at the shop throughout the day,
yeah,
I ask Tyler all the time, my younger cousin. I'm always like, Tyler, you ready for a bizong? You ready for a bong break? You know, let's go smoke some chronic, because you know sometimes it's nice to be able to pull away and go smoke. And
so you do smoke throughout the day?
For sure.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on days. Like if I'm working at the shop and I've got a whole bunch of paperwork, I might hold off till I'm done the paperwork and then go and blaze. But if I'm growing today, like my whole day is going to be lollipopping and topping and
what's lollipopping?
So lollipoping
and topping and
I know, and
talking, it's awesome. You're gonna hop on a live stream and talk to him. I got him. It's obvious that I'll be up on his podcast again, and that's the Primo talking about his friend Ellevan. Man, hold on.
Yeah. My daughter's always going, "Can I have a lollipop?" Because she hears me talking at home. I'm going, "Oh, sorry, I got to go finish the lollipop day." So she's always, "Can I have a lollipop too?" So lollipopping, it's a growing technique where you remove the bottom shoots off of the plant. So if I have the plant growing, especially in flower, I don't want to have that energy going towards those bottom. We call them scrubs.
Got it.
Like the stuff at the very bottom of the plant.
Focus the photosynthesis.
Yeah, I like to have that energy go somewhere else. Also in veg, I'll lollipop because I don't want the plant to start shooting off nodes too close to the soil, the base. So I like to have a little bit of distance from because I use cocoa. Rockwell's a little bit cleaner and stuff, but I like using cocoa. It's more of an organic matter. I think it's more sustainable. And so I like to have a little bit of distance between those first nodes, branches that come off of the stalk.
Word.
I like to have a little distance there, so I lollipop. I'll create that distance by snipping off those bottom branches.
Whoa.
And then what I also like to do is topping. So in topping, if I have my plant is growing, there's nodes that come off, different branches, different little flowering shoots, right? Or vegetative shoots. So if I top those...
That's the Bundy one.
Oh, man.
Is that the one you were saying is meaty?
No, the Bundy one is the one that's more of that cookies, the way that it grows. And it finishes fast, too.
Earthy.
So when I top, I'll cut off that main top one. I'll pinch it right off. And then what'll happen is it'll split into two. And then I'll have two shoots coming out instead of just one.
Okay.
So the idea is to try and get more of that canopy, filled, and create a little bit of space. So I've done extreme lollipopping where I've done almost 2/3 of the plant. The bottom is gone, and then I just get that top third on top if I really want some tops. But that's a little extreme. It does it like 50-50. Go halfway up the plant, let the top half soak in all that energy and produce.
Brilliant, and put it all into the bud.
Put it all into the bud.
Man, these are so deliciously clean.
This is meaty.
It's meaty, right?
It is meaty.
There's a bit of salt on that steak.
You know what? It tastes like that mutant peanut butter smells right now.
Right? No, I'm like right back here, like in the middle of the tongue on the side. Isn't that cool?
Fuck, we smoked a lot of chronic today.
We did, bro. Thank you so much for blessing us. Holy fuck. This has been such an epic return.
It's been nice.
I
wish Winnie was here, but Winnie's a boss, man.
She got to go do her thing.
Listen, Winnie is never staying still. You're never staying still. I'm surprised you're not like, hey, Walsh, great. Now get the fuck out of here and go home.
No, I'm chilling. We're doing a double banger today because we're going to Newfoundland at the end of the week.
No way. What are you doing? You visiting family out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're the East Coast most, right?
Yeah, the most of the East Coast, making the most. Yes, that's gonna be good. I haven't been since I was a kid, and my dad lives out there now, so Winnie's gonna meet that side of the family, and that'll be cool, man. So we have to. It's so perfect. It was so great you could come by. It's just it was totally time, but also this week just really put me back on track. When there's a new pressure, it's okay, I'm not going to be here for a week, so I got to do this week's and next week's, and then fuck it, do another one and have ready for the next week for when you get back, and then that's already taken care of.
It's pressure,
so it's it helps you perform. Oh yeah, you know about that. Pressure helps you perform. That's it.
Fuck. So last episode was with Onel.
Yeah, dude, he right away talked about you.
And Onel is, I love that guy.
He's a sweetheart.
Let me tell you that after the Can Expo, the first guy that ever came up and interviewed me was Onel. I'm at my booth. I walks over with a camera guy and a mic, and he was so articulate. The way he talks, he's very, like when he said, he's very charming, right? Mm-hmm. Onel he's so good, and not only that, but he has this understanding of brands and how to drive a brand, that he was the first person. I didn't even know what a brand was. I swear to God, when I was at the Can Expo, I had people come up to me asking me, okay, what other brands do you have? And I'm going, I don't know what you mean. This is us.
It's me, baby.
I had no clue about brands. I'm a grower. I don't know it. So
you're the real deal.
When I was talking to Onel was like, I had talked to him a few phone calls after the Can Expo. And we just talked for an hour, and then another hour, and just he put me onto it. And I love this analogy that it gave me. It's not, brands is how people feel. It's not about the actual icon. It's not about that Nike swoop. It's how you feel when you put those shoes on.
Yes.
And he's like, how do you want people to feel?
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to find a way to drive people to feel the way that you want them to feel when they think or experience your brand.
Yes.
And that's why he was going really lean on, and the high ladies too, I give them props all the time, that they gave me the thing where really lean on, forget about it's hand trimmed, hang dried, cold cured, everybody's whatever. She said, what makes you I remember, man, the high ladies come, they're like, no, but who are you?
Yeah.
Where do you come from? What's your story?
Yes.
And the only thing I could tell them was well, I'm from, my family farm was in Cornwall, and my mom's name, and they're like, it's your family. That's you. Like that's who it is. And so I found the best way to actually pull people towards the feeling that I get, because when I think of Primeau, I think of my mom, is to drive them through that we're family, and I kind of want to walk them through that, you know, we're family run, grower owned. It's my mom's maiden name. This is who we are. We're small batch. We're craft. I love being, you know, like I love, if you could pick up off my energy, especially when you meet me and we're talking and stuff. Man, like the Winter Fair was crazy.
Yeah.
There's so like 2,000 people rolled through. We had a booth.
You gave people the attention.
Our booth was the longest booth there. And I'm not just saying, like, our booth was the longest lineup.
I love that.
And part of the reason for that is because every person that came up, I gave them the same energy over and over. And I gave them the same amount of time. And I didn't want to be like, I hope you heard what I just said to Buddy. You know, here it is here. Like, I go, oh, do you know who we are? No. Okay, well, this is who we are. We're from Guelph. You know,
Take
like
a moment with them.
Yeah, and I go through, and not only that, but I cracked every single jar, smell it, you know, and go through it. And I don't care if there's 10 people and they're tapping their toes and looking at their watch. You know, if you don't have the time or the respect for other people, move to the next booth.
Well, they're going to want that experience when they get there. They're just being impatient. So that's it. They want it too. They do secretly want it. Can I roll another one of these peanut butters?
Listen, man, you roll.
I'm gonna roll another one of these peanut butters.
It's Limp Bizkit right now. You just keep rolling.
Come on. Look at the oils on this, bro.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So that's one that's a little bit more cookies. So I'm at the point now where, you know, I've got these 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
Bundy 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Bundy,
what is this one?
That's Bundy 3. So Bundy 3 is...
That's the one.
Bundy 3 is nice. It's more of that Fruity Pebble OG in it.
Yeah,
This one's got more of the cookies in it. But again,
I hear you.
Sometimes you got to go like...
Earthy.
Hey, this one's the easier kid to raise up.
Sure.
But something special about this one.
Natural athlete, autistic freestyle rapper.
Right. There's something special about this kid. You know, and so at the end of the day, yeah, it's easier. I could be a lazier grower by going with the Bundy one.
Yeah.
And, you know.
But still, like.
And now this is the thing, too. Like, I'm in week 8 of flower right now. So I'm on the flush.
It's a dream come true, bro.
So I've been on the flush for a week. So week 7, I cut my plants off all food and I just water. That's it. A little bit of water week 7. I don't want to flush them out too heavy, but
so what does that do to them?
Okay, so this is a common mistake that, you know, I talk to some growers and I laugh because I used to do this myself. Bro, when you flush a plant,
hugs my heart.
You want to just add water in, and what it does is it removes all of the salts out of the medium. Okay. And then the plant is no longer eating that fertilizer to grow. What they have to do now is actually turn on themselves, and they got to start cannibalizing. They got to start eating their own food out of their leaves.
It's like when a bodybuilder they stop drinking water and it like sucks it up, you know?
Yeah.
Like
So in this case here,
fat.
It uses up their fat stores.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the plant starts to finish, right? Like you got to remember that these plants are annuals, right? They're not perennials. They're not supposed to grow back every single year. So these plants, you know, as it gets colder, as the light starts to shorten, they start to realize it, and that's why they go into flower, right? Light deprivation is what causes flowering. Because if you put them on veg, you're putting them on 18 to 24 hours of light, right? To keep them in a vegetative state. But then when
they bud.
Yeah, because when we're ready to flip them to budding,
that's flipping it. Yeah,
all you got to do is put them to 12 on and 12 off of light, right? And then that light deprivation spurs them to think, oh my God, it's getting later in the season, right? I'm now reaching maturity because it's no longer spring. We're now moving into summertime, right? And so, and then 40, later summer, and yeah. So then what they do is they want to start developing their organs and you know, like for their reproduction. And so that's what flower is, right? It's the female plant. The males will start developing pollen sacs. And so,
yeah, we do,
right? And so that's what it's all about for that light deprivation. But flushing, the plant is fed too much too long, right? And you go to smoke it, it's burning harsh and it's burning black.
Yeah,
and
the nutrients haven't been flushed.
Correct. And so this is the key thing that a lot of growers make mistakes on. And I used to be one of them until Function put me on the game. Again,
shout out Function, bro.
Yeah, Function's a big reason why I grow the way that I do. He's the one who walks into my room sometimes and goes, what are you doing? This is a potassium deficiency. I'm going, no, what are you talking about? And he'll go, look it. And he'll explain to me. He'll pull up a weed leaf chart and he'll go, look, This is exactly what is going on with one of these plants here.
He's a doctor.
Because when you're doing phenos, you can't feed everybody the same. Every kid needs their own individual stuff. And so that's where the hand watering comes into benefit for me, is that I can alter my food as I'm watering the plants to make it more individualized, because what's good for the lava isn't good for the Bundy.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
True.
And if you had a big drip system, everybody's getting fed the same no matter what. And so you're able to kind of figure out, and that's what I mean about the biscotti, that she's a little bit tricky. She's not the same as the lava. She's not the same as the dough, because both of those have the cookies in it, right?
The Bundy?
The lava and the dough have it, whereas the biscotti cake is biscotti Sunday driver cross wedding cake, right?
Oh, the
so
Sunday driver.
It was about 3 years ago. Fuck, it might even be 4. That's how fast time goes. But 4 years ago, Canorado dropped the biscotti, the Sunday driver lines.
No, this is nuts. This Bundy 3 is fucked.
It's nice. That's the powerhouse.
Is that what's going in with the Cap Junkie?
That's what's going on with the Cap Junkie.
Jesus Christ.
But, just to quickly mention on the flush.
Primo trees. I'm sorry, finish that.
No, I just want to say this quick, because I'm super high, and if I don't, I'll lose it.
Please.
It's not about how much water you give them at any given point. So when I flush out, I like to see a 10% runoff. So that means that if I put in 100 liters of water, I want 10 liters of water to leave the bottom of that pot, because it's pulling out the salt. It's literally washing them out.
It's the pass-through.
Okay, so what some growers will do, and I used to be one of them back in the day, I used to go, okay, I'm on the flush. It's week 8. At the end of week 8, they're harvesting. So let's start the flush now. And I only water 2 or 3 times that week. And I'm just going to dump out 500 gallons of water into the plants.
Oh, my God.
But, that's great. You've cleaned you've cleaned the medium, but you haven't given the plants enough time to eat their own stores. So it's not about the amount of water, it's about the amount of time that you actually deprive them of that food.
Ooh, and what's that sweet number? Or it varies per plant?
It could vary per plant, especially depending on the harvesting date. But generally, what I'm doing is after week 6 is the most important, for me anyways, my opinion, is the most important week for bud development. It's a heavy potassium week. So week 6, they crave food. You see the most bud development in week 6. I mean, you go from week 4 and 5, you're like, wow. And then you get into week 6. By the time you get into week 7, you know what the plants are going to look like, because that week 6, they're just exploding in potassium. So they really want a lot of food. But after week 6, and as soon as I hit week 7, I cut them off of all food. I give them a nice water. Oh, that's that Fruity Pebble, eh?
Yeah, I tossed a nug of the Bundy on top of the meat.
Yeah, I like to cut them off all food, and then that way
wow,
it gives them a chance to finish out. And when they finish out, they change colors. So you ever notice some weeds got a little bit more flavonoids in it, where it's starting to be a little bit purple or pink or grapefruit?
Yes.
That comes from 2 different things. One of them is, could be the cold. Some guys drop their room temperatures, which I do. I like to drop it down because it mimics, again, it's getting cooler. So the plant thinks, oh my God, my life's coming to an end. So it starts to finish up, right?
Oh my God. Wow.
And then also, Function's got me on a thing right now, and I've been trying it, and it's phenomenal. Is I'm not doing 12 to 12 in flower. I'm doing 12 to 12 up until week 6. After week 6, when I begin the flush, I change to a 13-11. I do 11 hours with lights on and 13 hours. I give them that extra hour of darkness every day. Ooh. Because then the plants really start to freak out and go, oh my God, not only is it getting colder in here, but I'm getting darker. Less light, yes. Right? So my season is, it's about kind of manipulating that plant's, natural
You're like
genetic.
A good personal trainer. That's like one more rep, you just like get him to push just that little harder by offering a little more resistance.
I'm putting that extra 5-pound plate on the bench, right?
That is fucking brilliant, man. You are a scientist, engineer, and artist all at one. That's what's so fascinating about the position as a grower.
Yeah, it's nice when you have that control to do it. Imagine if somebody was telling me, no, you can't do that.
I'd never want to see you in that position, bro.
I don't know. I don't know.
You wouldn't be.
I don't know if I would subject myself to it. But I like doing over a 20-day flush. Yeah. So that's what kind of difference some of my flower from other people's in the market is. I do a 20-day flush. I'm probably the only one stupid enough to do that, especially hand watering it.
Why is that stupid?
Because sometimes I'll sacrifice the quantity for the quality. Because if I'm feeding them beyond week 7, they're still eating that food. They're still growing. They're still swelling out. It's like it's like that weightlifter still having that water weight in them. And then when they step on the scale, they're weighing heavier. They're still, you know what I mean? That production is there. However, the quality of it at the end, that muscle definition, it's better to have that water weight gone. You know what I mean? And I'd rather go with the more quality than the quantity of it, because let's be real. There's a lot of shit weed out there. You know what I mean?
That's really the kind of issue here. It's like we want legal to represent as quality still. You're fighting the good fight, bro.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, like, I'm a craft producer. I'm small batch.
Right.
So what's the worst thing that happens if I sacrifice the quantity and a store wants to order but they can't because I've burnt out the batch, right? And I got to wait for the next stuff. That's just the nature of the beast for when you're talking about craft small batch.
Right.
It makes it that much more that much more valuable as well. So
yeah, it's true. Volatile and valuable, all the V's.
So yeah, like I like to do a 20-day flush and I like to do a 20-day hang dry. Right? So that's 40 days that I dedicate to just curing and completing that plant's life and giving it the time.
But that's the mixing and mastering phase though, right? Like that is the, it can be a good song, but it's how you treat it. You have to absolutely harness that nurturing, or take the opportunity to harness that time and nurture the fuck out of it. That's the long game, bro.
It's the long game. That's it depends on what you want, right? If you want to just bang out stuff and throw it out, you go right ahead. But like you said, this is my mom's legacy, right?
Yeah, exactly. That keeps you almost more accountable than any contract or dollar sign could. That's like respect to mama's name.
Yeah, that's I get a spiritual connection to this brand that I didn't even know anything about brands, but
you're living as one.
And it's gotten to the point where Ben calls me Primo, right? Like a lot of people will just call me we'll go Primo,
we've really been trained, especially Italian culture, just hey Primo,
Primo.
And you also got the big chief energy. We were talking about that from I showed O'Neill the Smoke-a-thon music video yesterday, and he's like, I love that. He's like, because you're big like this. I'm like, yeah, he has big chief energy, and he's like, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, yeah, you're the big chief energy, bro. That's
so fun. With O'Neill, it's so funny, man, because we have such a good relationship that we razz each other, right?
Oh, of course. So he breaks balls. I love that. That's funny.
Oh yeah, but we're at Hall of Flowers. I see Bold Cannabis is kind of like adjacent to me, down a hall, right there. And I see O'Neill outside of the Bold Cannabis booth, and I give him a call. He doesn't see me, right? I'm behind him, and I give him a call, and he's like, "Hey, where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, bro, just take 2 steps forward." And so he takes 2 steps forward, and the Bold guys are watching him, eh? And I'm going, okay, no, take 2 steps back. So he takes 2 steps back. I'm going, no, do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. And then he was so unimpressed, eh? And he's like, this is war, right? Like,
because you fucking got him, bro.
You know what, though?
You got him, bro.
It's been war with me and him. So
I love
4 days later, like, O'Neill knows where my farm is, where I live and stuff. And so I'm on my way to the grocery store. I have to go out of town. I'm in the country. I'm driving in, and all of a sudden I get a message from Nell. He's like, hey, where are you at? I'm like, I'm going to the grocery store. He goes, I'm at your place. I just happened to drop by. And I was like, oh, okay, listen, I'm on my way back. I'll quickly run into the grocery store. I grab a few things. And then I leave and I drive home, and I go home and I look around. I'm like, yo, where is he? I'm calling him. And then he's like, oh, I'm right behind you. I'm right behind. I turn around, and then I realize he was never at my place. He was just fucking with me. Because because he's like, I told you I was going to get you back.
He fucking got you back.
Yeah, so I've gotten him a few times.
That's so
good. I tried getting him at the winter fair there, but his suspicions were up, eh?
That's what the dreams of friendships are made of, Fuck, I'm high. I just realized the camera died. That's okay, so I can just plug her in.
Nice. Which one did you roll here, El?
Bro, that is the peanut butter with a little bit of the Bundy.
We call this the Mac 11.
Hey!
This is the Mac 11 here.
Yeah. Yes, the salad.
The peanut butter
with the Bundy.
With the Bundy.
The PB and B.
Yeah, I like that Al Bundy man, Married with Children.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's that weed that you want to go home, sit on the couch, and he always puts his hand right in his pants. He's just ready to just chill out. Eh?
He is all that is man in the home sense of relaxation. I love that we had that.
That's lethal, eh?
This is fucking incredible.
That's lethal. I had that's why I was excited to do this one, because if anybody should be enjoying the first little taste, you know what I mean, and giving me true props like what it is.
Yes.
It's you guys.
Bless you, bro. Thank you for blessing us. This has been like, I know, so cool for people to like see too. Like we literally tried all the new crop, like exclusive.
That's it. So yeah, the two craft samplers, the Trees and Primo collab, and the other Primo one, which is going to be the peanut butter and biscotti, they both drop in spring. Trees and I are also doing a collab on the going to be in the 2-1 gram, right, for the pre-rolls.
I'm so fucking psyched. Go and get this. It is an art piece. It's a piece of history. Get one to smoke and one to put in your weed shrine from like Canadian history. This is fucking nuts.
This is the first time, it's funny because this is the first time where two craft growers are actually going to come together and have full creativity and put themselves out together. Because like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's the standard guy going over to the micro and going, great, I really like your Cap Junkie. Here's $2 a gram, $2.50, $1.50, whatever it is. Yeah. Here it is. They buy it. They put it out under their own thing. If you're lucky to get a shout out, okay, great. But a lot of them put it out that this is my flower. This is my product.
Yeah, it's a business at the end of the day.
It's a business for
like,
sure.
Yeah, like I make beats for other people too. And like, yeah, you don't always get title credit. It's just like the nature of the business. But this is the first time in this industry where two people are actually going to come together. Forget the brands. There are two people who are coming together. That's Ben and Wallace. That's Primo and Trees.
We came together to create something special and support one another. You know what I mean? Where it's like, again,
real.
A lot of the other guys would go, okay, well, you'll come in with me, but I'm gonna take 10 points off of each sale of your stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's my thing. It's my SKU.
Right.
Man, I said I don't care whose SKU it is. Right, like it's going under Primo.
That's the that's why it's important for an artist to take on that stress sometimes of starting their own thing, because you will run it the way it's supposed to be run.
Yeah.
Sometimes a business gets all caught up in being a business and forget why that entity or structure or brand exists in the first place. You're operating from the heart to contribute something authentic. That's living loud, bro. That's living loud. That's
it's hard. It's hard for me to even really put out how much I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
it's felt though. We can feel it.
You feel it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Of course.
I'm super high too, eh? Like I'm blitzed right now.
It's special, man. We're special high. This is good. I know everyone chilling out. So most people watch apparently on their TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they put it on, so we're kind of hanging out in someone's living room right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully your session with us. But like, love, this is a nice moment. This is a nice vibe. Appreciate you. I like being this high.
You know who else I want to give a big shout out to?
Who?
Fucking Bam.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Bam, 420 Grows. Go check him out on Instagram.
Bam is, that's another one where I gravitated towards Bam because it's a father and son.
Yep.
And the first time I met Bam was at the Blunt Fiction party on 420, right? Which I saw you guys there too.
Yep. That was a big day for us.
And Bam just, like I said, him with his son, there's these just few people that you meet.
It's incredible.
That you're like, you know what? Family stuff is like, we're the people who've been here.
And we know from as a human being, seeing another human do a thing, if you brought your family in on this, you got it all on the line. Yeah. Like, this is you. Like, this isn't like, we're not getting any side energy. We're getting like, you are a parent, or like you're not fucking around, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of attached to quality, if you ask me. Like, I want to see someone with their, as much as I know it's intense because I do it myself, but I want to see someone with their neck on the line.
That's it.
They care about their reputation. This isn't a corporation you can dissolve and walk away from. This is you. And you're right. Bam is like a Pokemon of the industry, all too important to himself, because it's just like, great, you know what I mean? Like, just to have him as a character, rather, is what I'm saying, as in this realm, it's such a privilege.
for somebody who wants to pass down their craft to their son.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Like I said, I just, you know, Bam popped in my head. I was on a live with him a couple days ago, and just he always comes on and wants to have a session with people.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I always log on and say, Bam, what's going on? And then he invited me to join. So I went into the garage. We were smoking and just hanging. And like I said, I really like Bam, man.
Me
I like
too.
the Family Guys. Like, you know, some of the other brands like I really like. You know, Brad and Scott from Frost have been great dudes.
Dude, Brad's a sweetheart. Yeah, we connected on IG, and Frost has fire as well.
Josh and Frankie from the Drip. Frankie's awesome, man. Fucking,
Come on.
yeah, they're really nice dudes.
Come on. Josh is another one. He was on. His wife was here, pregnant at the time. Like ride or die type. Like everything's on the line. She left her job to come be part of the business. Like, yeah, that's what it is. Fucking Frankie, dude.
Oh, Frankie's hilarious, eh?
I want Frankie at every fucking show, like event.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my personal shows. I mean, my Ellevan shows. Like, he came to that album listening party, and he would, because sometimes like I held 3 listenings like in like one night. So it's like, come for one of them. We'll have it at this time. Album's a half hour, and then I'm like, for everyone, like, thanks so much for coming to the first listen through. I'm like, we're gonna spin it again in a bit, and Frankie was like yes, that would be great. Like, right? He's like, yes, I'm down. Like because I was just wondering if he'd like to stick around, and like, you know, people rotate and they come, but he stayed, I think, for all 3 of the listens. He's just,
That's Frankie, so funny.
Frankie is the biggest hearted dude. We gotta have him on.
You know, Ben introduced me to Billy from Carmel. You know, and Billy's a phenomenal grower too.
Oh, dude, Ben talks about Billy like
highly.
And
it's so funny. Ben never wants to offend anybody, so he's like, "Yo, Primo, like, no offense, but like, so, you know, Billy's like the best grower that I know." And I'm like,
he's like,
you never have to apologize for like if you think someone's the best grower. That's great, man. Learn from them, right? And I met Billy. He's a super nice guy. I met him at the gala. Yeah. Right. Ben came and introduced me, so it's nice. It's nice seeing actual people starting to emerge in the industry, and you know, and shining a bit, and you know, I would love to do, like, you know, the next drop, if I wanted to do like a collab again, you know, I would reach out to Frankie, man. You know, I even told Frankie, when you guys are ready to do a Drip collab with me, let me know, because they're the type of people I would like to support too, and I just feel like we got the same type of values.
Oh my God, yeah. And Josh is a great grower.
Phenomenal grower.
Like,
it's so funny because when I had first met them, I didn't even clue into it till after this winter fair, because I also had like a sense of deja vu. Yeah. I met them at the Kind Summer Fair.
Oh yeah.
I was at near like where you wash your hands and stuff. You know, off to the side there's like that little club area.
Yeah.
So I'm over there and I meet this guy and he's like, "Yeah, we're about to drop too." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he showed me this flower. I remember just going like, "Whoa!" Yeah. And I didn't even clue in it was them until after this winter fair. I went, "Oh my God, that was actually Josh and Frankie back then."
So,
and that was before they even dropped their first stuff.
Bro, I think that we had the same experience. I had met Josh, I think, one time previously at a Got Loud party through Adam Broadcast. It might have been 420. It might have been 420.
The Blunt Fiction party?
No, a Fido party.
That was after was after Kind Summer Fair, no?
Was it?
Yeah, where they had and it rained crazy.
And it rained, and we danced in the rain.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys there. That's right. We had like everybody was huddled under that little gazebo.
We went out and we enjoyed the rain. That's funny. So, okay, so I think I met him the first time there and through Adam Broadcast. And Adam Broadcast is just a homie, man. He's another nucleus, you know? But yeah, Mother Labs does great work. Shout out Brian. They do grow some great stuff, or they have some seeds, right? They have seed banks.
Yeah, I've never used the tissue culture lab guys yet. You know, so there's like Sagra and Mother Labs. They have genetic banks.
It's fascinating.
It really is. My thing is, you know, like I was saying earlier, my uncle Richie owned the seed bank. When I got licensed, Health Canada allowed us to bring genetics in. You know, like I got my entire seed bank collection from Rich, and everybody who started out got their seed collection from Rich. And so back in the day, like, you know, that's where like I got all my Subcool and my Cali Connects, and like
these are seed brands, right?
These are all OG seed brands. Like, so they're the Cali Connects used to have Corleone Kush, Jedi Kush, Deadhead OG. There was a lot of different stuff going on. And then Subcool, Sub died when I was 21. I was hanging around the seed bank when Sub died. And Sub was doing Chernobyl and Cleaner and Cherry Gasm and and so these are all genetics that I ended up with as Primeau. I have them in my seed bank.
Oh my god.
And so my thing is like, yeah, I would love to go out and just buy a tissue culture cut and run with it and do my thing, but I'm on the hunt, man, and I can't stop. Function would kill me if I'm like, you can never pop another bean because we're gonna start grabbing our stuff. Man, it's all about the hunt, and there are risks associated with it. Like, there's different diseases that can come through the seed.
Oh yeah, but you like getting your hands in the clay and being the artist.
That's it, man. I want to start right from the very scratch and Function's on the thing where we've got some genetics that are like 23 years old, 25 years old. There's some stuff that's like 45 years old. Like he's got stuff like landrace stuff that I ended up with when we first did our declaration of genetics with Health Canada. I have like Kilimanjaro and like real Colombian gold from like the 60s and stuff. And so,
you got any red Congo?
I don't have red Congo, but I have
the finest sativa ever.
There's thousands of different genetics.
I gotta say that tastes so fucking good.
So just mix a little
the Bundy.
So go buy both craft samplers and mix them.
There you go. That's the salad. Or maybe it'll be in a Mac 11 pre-roll. A fucking salad drop. Oh my god.
That's the next thing we got to do is get you guys.
I agree, bro. I mean, that's.
Ben told me that when you guys went into the tour, you got 2 different clones growing. You picked them.
It's incredible. Like, I don't even know what it is. I hope it's the Cap Junkie, but I'm such a fan of Ben's Cap Junkie, and he basically just taught us. It's in the back of the. I put our tour in the back of the Mambo Number 5 remix.
Seen that. Yeah. Let me tell you how much I enjoyed that.
And some OG, you're gonna wanna hit this one, homie. Finding every single strain, perfect for my brain. Terpenes lead the way, now I'm ready to aim. Blue cheese, Cat Junkie, lather cake from Primeau. Daytime smoke is filled with banjo from trees though. Flowers on another level, it's a different game. Caramel, animal face, I could hit it for days. Do-si-do is really great if you're having pain. With a weed bar like this, how could I complain? A little bit of Ivory in the blunt, a little Simply Beer when I wake up. A bunch of black market, yes indeed. You see how we bees about the weeds. A little CB.
I was laughing my ass off. I was by myself. Katie's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "I don't even gonna tell you right now because I was just laughing,
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Ben's done.
So he taught us how to clone, basically.
Yeah.
So we got 2 little clones.
Well, I know some of the strains that he's done that I've been like, wow. The Cap Junkie's one.
The Cap Junkie is nuts.
Horchata?
The Horchata! I bet, like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Phenomenal.
It works with my brain in a way. I think it has the right terps that, like...
You know that guy, I think, got Strain of the Week at High North Labs? Like, he got the strain shout
banjo?
out. I think it was for the horchata, for terps. Like, it was some crazy...
Or was it the apple fritter? It had the...
See, he also had the apple fritter, and the Celtic cream was another one that he was playing around with.
Oh, my God.
But that's what I mean. Like, for a grower who's so phenomenal to actually not be on the market, you know what I mean? But doing the B2B and doing it super successfully and growing the way that he does, I can't wait to see, what it holds for him for this year. Because
dude, I know that the leverage, that the visibility that your collab with him offers will be a whole new flux of fans for their brand as well. This, like, your guys' drop,
and well deserved, man,
for everyone. It's great. I mean, it's a blast. I've never been in such a cool friendship trio where everybody is so psyched to be each other's friends.
Right?
It's so lovely. Everyone feels lucky to be participating.
It's so that's the thing where, like, Ben's like, I really appreciate, like, riding your rocket. I'm going, no, man, like, listen, at the end of the day, believe me when I say, like, I'm going to be riding your rocket as you're going up, because I see it. You know, like there's something special about that guy, the way that he grows and who he is. That
And he just learned, like, basically he's like, same with me in mixing. It's like, how'd you learn? It's like YouTube, like, try it, fail, and then YouTube it.
Yeah.
Like, there is somebody who's an expert in everything.
yeah.
And they made, like, hopefully they made videos about it. Like,
I always laugh because when I was with you guys when he did Ben's pod, you know, his kids call him Papa, eh? So I always, you know, on my phone it's Big Papa, right?
Yes, Big Papa, man.
Yeah,
the way
because-
we walked into that barbecue joint, it was Big Papa. He laid it down.
Man, Ben's the first guy to go, listen, let me just tell you guys right now how it's going to go down. I'm paying the bill.
I'm paying for this. Don't even fucking.
Oh, yeah, like-
don't even do the bullshit where you pretend to reach for your wallet.
Talk
Fuck
about
off.
Tony Soprano, eh? When he watched me, he's going, no, let me tell you how this is actually going to go down.
Big Poppy.
Yeah, Big Papa, man. Like,
Oh, it's gone.
yeah, I'm super excited for this collab. I mean,
miss it
we did the logo, just Photoshop, right? Like we did everything like just grassroots. I was working in my kitchen. We did, you know, and I sat down with Ben and I'm like, hey, listen, and you know what? I'll say this right now. Trees is the reason why I have these drops coming out in spring because
What?
in my mind, I think it was October 10th or the 15th. I can't remember the exact date, but OCS has specific date deadlines for you to submit for a pre-submission for like, this is what I'd like to do.
Okay.
And if you miss it, you miss it. You have to wait a quarter of the year to get into the next drop.
Okay.
I thought it was a week from the day, and Ben calls me at 4:00 and the closing is at 5. And I thought I have a week. And he's like, hey, did you still want to do that collab? Like, are we doing the submission? And I was like, yeah, we got time. Don't worry. And I pulled up the schedule and went, oh my God, it closes today in an hour. And I hadn't submitted anything. And I ran up to the house. I grabbed my laptop and I sat there with Ben and we just had to bang out what the description was going to be, what fucking, like everything. We had to come with it. We had an hour and I had to do 4 different drops. So I had to do the biscotti and the peanut butter. I had to do the Bundy and the Cap Junkie. I had to do the Bundy and Cap Junkie as a pre-roll. And then I also did a rotating sampler pre-roll. So I'm going to have 2 1 grams in a pre-roll that are going to be 2 different strains, and I can rotate them out. So I'm going to do maybe biscotti or peanut butter or the banana papaya or maybe a lava or dough joint, whatever. But I had to do all that in an hour. If it wasn't for Ben, I was at the bottom of the driveway picking up my daughter from the bus at 4:00. If that guy didn't call me and let me know, I wouldn't have had any drops come out in the spring.
Fucking shout out.
So
Ben.
it was honestly,
Winners want to see others win.
it was honestly just it was like the universe had put it in his head, being like, you better call Wallace and ask him like what's going on with these drops,
So
because
you
he
guys
didn't
are already
know.
linked up divinely.
Yeah, man, he didn't even know that it was closing that day. He just happened to randomly call me at 4:00.
Don't you notice everything's always working out?
It is, and you know, one of the reasons I honestly feel like that is the lazy river, man.
You got that beautiful. I mean, I try to tap into that energy sometimes when I feel frustrated or impatient, and I try to remember that you said that, and that's that's important. So express this concept again to people.
It's just surrender, right?
Ooh.
Surrender. So like, you know, when I started Primo, I swam so hard. You know, I was going against the current. I was spinning my wheels. I couldn't figure it out. And then at some point, I kind of just let go and just went, you know what? Wherever the current takes me. And it just so happened that, you know, like you still have to kick your feet.
Yeah.
You still got to swim. Don't just, you know, lay there and just think, you know, like you still got to, you know, have a drive and direction of where you want to go.
Yeah.
But I kind of just surrendered myself to go, you know what? Whatever happens now.
Fuck.
And I'm going to try and be positive and put my best foot forward. And I got in with OCS. And since then, like, honestly, man, if I really think about 2023, nobody knew who Primo was before the Can Expo.
Shout out Can Expo.
That was
we
March.
Will see you this year.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the Can Expo because that was my lily pad, you know, that I jumped off from there. But from there to Lift to Kind to Hall of Flowers to doing things with OCS as a trailblazer, ending up on the big screen in Cineplex. You know, there was so many different like milestones that I just couldn't believe. Even doing radio shows with Terry O'Reilly from Under the Influence, doing pods with the Disciplined Stoners.
You dropped and blew this year, bro.
It was crazy, and a lot of
last year now.
a lot of it was effortless though.
Yeah,
It really
felt
like because
right.
I kind of surrendered and the current is taking me and I've almost let myself go that wherever I end up, is where I'm supposed to go. My mom used to tell me when I was going through those hard times, those first 2 years of trying to get Primeau going and going through, you know, like I'm going through there's no path in front of me. It's just woods, and I got to kind of carve out my own path and try and find it out. And I'm in the weeds. You know, my mom used to tell me, like, sometimes when you fail, your success will come from that. Like, where it leads you, you never know. And so that was the whole thing. She always told me, keep it in the light. Put it in the light, manifest. And where are you limiting yourself? Right? She used to ask me, where are you limiting yourself? Like, what do you want to see? And I used to go, I'd love to see Primeau blow. She goes, but what does that look like? That's all that it looks like? That's all that it is? Like,
whoa, so she's a master visualizer.
Yeah, I mean, she likes unlimited. She's like, think about what unlimited actually looks like. The universe wants to help you.
Oh my God.
You got to just sometimes you got to just go with the flow, right? Go with the lazy river. And that's what I've kind of been on. And it's just so funny where it took me. Because like I said, in the universe, look, the current took Ben to call me 1 hour before the deadline to make sure that this drop actually happens, you know, because we both really want it to happen. It's happening, you know, and like I said, we both needed to want it, but we're on that go with the flow lazy river that it feels effortless and it feels nice.
I feel like that's got to be the title, and that's probably the perfect place to leave this.
Love
that
it.
thought is like, oh, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Yo, go with the flow on the lazy river with my bro Primeau. Let's see where we go.
Smoke some dough.
We know. Or some lava cake, or the next drops. I'm so excited for this, man.
This month.
Bless you.
Thanks for having
being
me,
here.
man.
Love, brother. Subscribe, tell a friend. Where can people find you?
OCS. Find me on Instagram, Primeau Cannabis. That's it. You'll see my mom's in the 60s, you know, with her mom's plants. So my grandma's plants in the garden in Georgetown, Ontario. And yeah, you know, if you see us at a show too, just, man, come over. Say hi, smoke a joint.
Yes!
You know what I mean?
Yes! Bless you, bro.
See ya.
See you guys.
That was great, eh?
So good. You ever see something so true that you couldn't unsee it? Something that you just knew would serve you. Whether it be self-awareness, plant medicine, a lover, a career. That's what we get down to here. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Spark up or don't, and enjoy the show. Glad you're here.